I love you, black men.
I love you, black men.
We love you, black men.
I love you, black men. I love you, black men.
I love you, black men.
I love you, black men.
Black man, do you know who you are to me?
Dear black man.
Hey, black man. Dear precious black man. Hey, black man. I just want to say that I lift you up. I encourage you. I thank you for your dedication to your homes, your family, your children, your wives.
Dear black man.
Dear black men.
Black man.
Black man, we love you. Okay, we love you. We need you. You are so necessary. You are literally the backbone to the black family.
Black man, I am so thankful for you, the way that you carry the weight of the world on your shoulders and you still show up.
I love you, black man. I love everything about you. Cocoa butter, vanilla swirl, cocoa mocha latte, chocolate, dark chocolate. It doesn't matter the color. I love you. I love your skin.
And don't forget to remind yourself that you are royalty.
Black brother, I love you. I will never try to hurt you.
Y'all swag is outrageous. I just want to say I love y'all, black men, and thank y'all for everything that you do.
The head of my household, my protector, my king, my provider, my best friend, my main man, your biggest fan. I am your cheerleader, and I'm going to ride for you.
I thank you because you're not the statistic that everyone makes you out to be. However, I see a different vision of you.
Black man, black man, black man.
And royalty does, in fact, look like you. And let me remind you how special and how precious and how rare your energy is.
I love you, black man. I love you, black man.
I love you, black man.
I love you, black man.
I love you, black men.
I love you, black men. I love you, black men.
I see someone strong. I see someone powerful. I see someone who knows who he is in his own right. And I just want to say, thank you, black man. Thank you.
I'm your rib, your rest and your brokenness, your place of peace amongst the world's craziness. Our home will be your oasis.
And I am so proud of you, and you are doing everything you need to, because we would not get this far without you. Black men deserve to be lifted and talked about highly, and I appreciate you.
Well, thank y'all for being who y'all are. Because Lord knows I've never gotten on the phone. I've never picked up my phone and made a phone call, and it hasn't been a black man to come through and help me in all ways, assist me in whatever it is that I needed.
Not to take anything away from any other races, but there is nothing like having a strong, empowered, successful in his own mind, in his own being, black man.
I love you, black man. I love you, black man.
I love you, black man.
I see you. I am so proud of you, and I'm excited for you to get everything that you're working towards. I believe in you, but really, I hope that you believe in yourself. Keep going.
I love your hair. I love your ears. I love your teeth. I love your eyes. They're so pretty. I love everything about you. I love your hands. I love your feet, and I trust them to guide me. I love everything inside you and out. I love you.
I want you to know that I'm here for you forever true, cause you are my black brother, strong brother. There is no one above you. I want you to know that I'm here for you forever true, cause you are my
Black man, I just wanted you to know that you are appreciated, you are respected, and you are loved by me and so many others. But you got this, you always do. Just know that you are needed and necessary. Thank you for all that you do.
And your creativity. We need your hugs. You're rock, so you stand. You are bold, resilient, compassionate, and beautiful.
You are deserving of the very best that life has to offer.
Your place of relief, because I know you fight with the world on a daily basis, praying that you don't become one of those cases where someone's misplaced hate puts you on the wrong side of a gun. I know you want to quit sometimes. I know it's hard. The fact that the weight of the world is in your arms, but you don't have to run from me, and you don't have to front. You see, I love you, black man.
The way that you move through the universe, commanding your space in it, you are seen, and it is a pleasure seeing you. Nobody could ever quantify the significance of your presence. You are individually designed, battle-tested, and blessed with the power of being boundless. Thank you for existing. You complement the world so well.
I love your brain. I love your heart. I love your strength. I love your power. I love your emotions. I love the way you cry. Did I mention I love the way you cry? I love the way you laugh. I love the way you smell. I love the way you smell. And I can't wait to have beautiful Black babies and be your lady and show the world how beautiful my family is, how beautiful you are. Because you're everything. And I love you. Everything about you.
I love you, Black man.
I love you, Black men.
I love all you black, chocolate, caramel, hazelnut men.
You are my rock, and I am your peace. Black man, I love you. We love you. We appreciate you. Okay? And we need you.
I love y'all to pieces. Even the ones that don't think I love y'all, the incels, I love y'all too. Thank y'all for being y'all. I love y'all Black men. Nobody does it like y'all. Nobody's as strong as y'all. The resilience that y'all show is ironclad. And I want to thank you. And I love you so much.
I love you. We love you. But Yeshua loves you more. Repent and turn, prodigal sons, and rise, kings.
The reason why affirmations for Black men has like transformed and changed my life particularly is because the more that I affirmed Black men every day for 2 years, the more that I realized I didn't love them as much as I thought I did.
Speak more.
It was the act of finding something different, of studying, of trying and looking to understand. It made me realize that I had never done that before. Until it became something that I was doing because I saw that people needed. And then I started to do it. And I was like, you're telling me I've lived 27 years of my life and I haven't cared to try to understand Black men. I haven't even cared to try. And I would consider myself a really loving person. But for a while, I have been encouraged to invest in only self or understand only self or try to get only for self. And I think that there was this also idea that I already knew him. I already knew everything I needed to know about him. I would study him for what? Get to know him. What is the reason? He's always there. Affirming Black men every single day for 2 years woke me up. It was like an awakening. Like I thought I had loved Black men. And then the more that I intentionally put effort to do so, I realized how much I didn't. And I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting.
You loved Black men in a dimension where it was very easy for you to say that you did. He's always here. That's taking him for granted. This is how it is that I see him. But you're not allowing him to tell you who it is that he is.
guys, I want to make sure that y'all heard what I was saying. Did y'all hear what I said, or was I like completely talking to myself? Hey. I think I spent like the last 2 minutes talking to myself. Did y'all hear anything, or were you just looking at a blank screen? If so, then my apologies. Let me know down in the comment section. Hey, what's going on, Demetrius? Hey, good to see you in the building. Y'all didn't hear anything. Okay, so I was literally talking to myself. Man, that's happened to me before. Sorry about that, people. So let me just back. Let me just back it up. For those of you guys who are hopping in, sorry about that. It looks like I was on mute, or I don't think I was actually on stage, so y'all didn't hear nothing. What I was saying was, if y'all go back and rewind real quick, I just played the video that I dropped over the weekend. It was a compilation of basically Black women who had all these really positive, affirming things to say about Black men, right? That talk about how they love Black men, and Black men are so beautiful, and they appreciate their sacrifice and their leadership, and Black men are so amazing, and Black men are the backbone, and they're the leaders, and just all these really affirming things about Black men, right? That's what I shared. Now, the context of this is, over the last few months, I have heard this concept flowing around the internet called the reach back. Now, to my understanding, the reach back is a term that I want to say came from the manosphere. I think it came specifically from a content creator called Accountable Commentary, who does not like Black women at all. At least from what I've heard. But nevertheless, I think the idea of the reach back, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the comment section, is basically, it is a term that is used to describe women who basically start moonwalking backwards as soon as they realize that they are not able to do things by themselves, right? So that's to say, you have a whole bunch of different ladies who for X amount of years have been saying that they don't need men, they're independent, they don't want men, men are nice to have, but they're not necessities. But then as soon as the economy hits them, they start getting the, sending out the, hey, big head text messages. All of a sudden they start visiting old boyfriends. All of a sudden this femininity just comes out of nowhere. And so this whole idea of like these women who are basically putting on somewhat of a fake, putting on femininity, putting on these like this fake persona of a feminine woman simply because they want their bills paid, right? And so this idea of the reach back being like, hey, don't fall for it. Don't fall for the all of a sudden fake, cheesy, just really unrealistic fake femininity that some of these ladies are about to start to try to project as soon as the economy hits them, right? So this is an idea that I saw floating around over the last few months. Now, it's funny that as these conversations happened, lo and behold, the videos like this started popping up in my feed. Actually, to be honest, these videos are videos that my husband sent me, right? My husband, obviously being a Black man, all of a sudden he was getting all these videos in his feed about Black women who are like, sending affirmations, heart emojis, we love you, sending blow kisses, doing poems, singing to them. Like, and he's like, wow, like the timing of this is really, really peculiar. So that's what I wanted to follow up about this. And I wanted to discuss it because even when I saw your guys' response, and the mixed feedback, I think it really gave me a good indication as to, again, where people are at with this whole thing, and ultimately just what is really going on in today's dating market. Now, to be clear, some of the videos that I actually shared with you guys, some of these videos were done over the last like few weeks. I'm not even gonna lie, but some of the videos actually happened before, before this year, before Trump came to office, like before some of these economic changes. Like some of the videos are actually older. So I can't say that like 100% of people or all these women are pandering. I don't really know. It's not, it's not for me to say. I'm not these ladies. But I do think I wanted to have this conversation about, first of all, do you guys buy this stuff at all? Are you guys just, anytime now you're seeing a Black man affirmation, you're just turning the other way, right? Secondly, what does it even really take for ladies who are actually serious about wanting to, work with a Black man, who are wanting to find somebody to work with, be a helpmeet, be somebody's wife eventually? Like if they want to be that person, like what would it actually take? Like what are genuine things that a woman would need to display to actually show that she's not just moonwalking backwards, right? From some crazy stuff she said before. that she's not just pulling a reach back, but she's actually genuine. So that's one of the things I wanted to unpack today. Anyways, guys, for those of you who are hopping in, like, share, and subscribe. Now, the first thing I want to do, since I showed you guys just a quick recap, I wanted to now go down and look at the actual comments, because I think the comments had really gave me, again, some insight into how you guys were feeling about this whole thing. And honestly, I have to say there was a lot of mixed feedback. Okay, so I'm going to go to the comment section first and hear what y'all have to say about the response. Let me pull this up. Shout out to you with the 2 on the super chat. It says it doesn't matter how old videos are, it's still BS. Yeah, so I understand that there are guys out there they've already, like, lockout, right? I think that's the term, right? Where there's just like, there is no turning back. There is no engagement. There is no conversation. Like, you have completely left the conversation. You're in a whole different world. You've grabbed your passports. You're not even dealing with American women. You are not dealing with Black women. You are not dating at all, right? Like, I understand that there's different perspectives around this. And then there's also men who were actually very flattered. Some who felt like this gave them a sense of hope. Some who were just like, who were affirming this. So there was definitely mixed reaction, but let me pull up really quickly the video so we can look at some of the comments real quick before I share a few of the things. Okay. Okay, so we're looking back at we're going back to the video that I shared earlier, the 8 minutes of feminine Black women affirming Black men, right? So that was the whole thing of just basically affirmations. So let's look at some of the top comments right here. It says, "Rest in peace, Angie Stone. Her song Brother always put me in a good mood." Okay, so we had, positive things to say. That was in response to one of the ladies in there who was singing that song. Let's see. Says every Black man needs to write a thank you letter to Angie Stone for the song Brother. You can tell when she wrote that she meant those words, rest in power, angel, right? I mean, I think by and large, a lot of the people that I've seen had really positive things to say about Angie Stone. No hate there, like just all love. Okay. Let's move on here. It says action is everything. Words never matching the action. So here, right here, this first comment is saying, nah, don't fall for the reach back, basically. Do not fall for it. We don't really want to hear your poems. We don't really want to hear your songs. Like, that doesn't really mean anything. Really what we need to hear and what we need to see is some action, right? So, interesting point here. Then it says, I agree. This is just cope for MAGA season. It says real talk. So this one says, speak for yourself once again. Yeah. So it looks like this person is not necessarily in agreement. This one here says we can't even appreciate the good woman because you're holding a grudge for all of them instead of acknowledging positivity. You're doing the same thing women do when they generalize all of it. So this person is like, nah, like, look at you. Like, you're so bitter, basically, is what it sounds like. You're so bitter that you're quick to throw all women under the bus. So this one is saying, listen, not all kind of thing. This means nothing. We men don't care about apologies, respect, and appreciate us in real life. Right. So going back to what I've been saying and what I think a lot of men have been saying, they really don't care about the performative stuff. They really don't care too much about, the songs and the TikTok videos and the Instagram reels and the social media, because honestly, sometimes that stuff, let's just be honest, sometimes that stuff isn't even done for the men. Because most men don't even really like move like that, right? Like, some of that stuff is just done because these ladies themselves want their own validation or want their own attention, right? So it's like, if you are really serious about wanting to show the man, because first of all, you don't need to be showing all Black men out there that like you want to be his helpmeet, like all it really takes is one. But if you're serious about wanting to actually show people in your life, somebody in your life that you're serious, you don't necessarily need to go on social media and do a whole affirmation series on it per se. You don't need to do that per se, right? Like, you can actually demonstrate in your own life that is what you want to do through action. So that's what a lot of men, from what I've heard up to this point, are saying, like, miss me with the TikTok videos, miss me with the affirmations. That's not what I need, right? So that's what some men are saying. So actions speak louder than words. This one says, I appreciate Chez and I appreciate Black men as well. So this one looked like they had positive stuff to say. This one says, I can appreciate the sentiment, but I've learned long ago that actions and behavior speaks louder than words. Moreover, thank you for what you do, Mrs. Chez. Yeah. So again, this is like a theme that I'm seeing over and over again. Like, yeah, some people are saying, okay, this is cool, whatever, but like, what are your actions saying? Some men are just like, this is just cap, period. I don't want to hear none of this stuff. I don't want to hear a poem. I don't want to hear a song. I don't want to hear it. Like, you just respect me in real life. This one says the hey, big head text is on 1 million. This one says, I guess the rent is due. This one over here says, Chez, good, God bless you for promoting Black love. Lots of love from Black brother in London, UK. All I want is a godly, virtuous Black queen in my life. Right. So also, real talk, I mean, there's a legitimate percentage, even with all the craziness that's going on right now, there's still a legitimate amount of men who just honestly want a good woman. Like, they're not asking for anything crazy. They're not asking for even a supermodel, nothing like that. They just want like a good woman that they can work with. And this kind of content, right? What it does is it can give men hope that those women still exist, even if they are a diamond in a rough, even if they are hidden somewhere or just like quiet, they're out there. Okay, let's look at some of the other feedback. It says, wow, those layoffs and egg prices must be hitting pretty hard. Yeah, so like I said, so y'all, many of the men in here were not buying it. They were not moved or impressed at all. This one right here says, I have to admit, my first impression of this was to ask myself, are these Black women caping? After decades of contempt by Black women in general toward us, hearing this from Black women raises an eyebrow. However, it is much better than the decentered content so often spewed and liked by the millions on these internet streets. Black female affirmations will have to be followed up by real, sincere actions. Thank you, Sister Chez, for sharing this, right? So, this dude over here been married 37 years to a Black woman, still going strong. Nice to see and hear the positive vibes for a change. I've always preferred Black women to keep up. Ladies, it feels nice. So, you know, we love you, Black women, too. You know, so we're seeing a mixture here, but an overwhelming majority right here says, stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. This one says, I don't know, y'all. Too many have spoken their truth a long time ago about us. This one right here, hashtag no reachbacks. Like I said before, y'all like, no, this is just too late. So, I mean, y'all can go and check out the comment section, but there seems to be this consistent theme, truly, of, you know, this would be a lot better if this was followed up by actions. Miss me with the TikTok videos, miss me with the Instagram reels, miss me even with these cute little posts, these little poems with like, no, can you actually demonstrate in real life? Can you demonstrate in real life? Can you demonstrate in real life that you respect and love me, that you care about me, right? And so we're obviously seeing this side. But on the other end, you know, there are men in there who are very clear and vocal. They're like, we love you too, queens. I saw some of that. I saw some men who are like, yeah, like this is what I like to hear. I'm also looking for a beautiful Black woman. So this one right here, this is so sweet, beautiful, and thoughtful of Black women if it's sincere and from the heart, because most of the good Black women go unheard. We do exist. This one, yeah. So that one had something nice to say. So yeah, so definitely, I mean, y'all got the picture. It's a mixture. It's very, very much a mixture. But from what I can see, at least in the comment section, there's a big majority of men who are just like, can you tell us this is real? Can you prove to us that this is legitimate? Because a few Instagram videos is not going to be able to undo decades upon decades of disrespect, followed by actual things and that are said or done in real life to reinforce that. Okay, so on that, what I wanted to do now was play two content creators who I think represent very much the opposite side of the spectrum in terms of how Black men right now perceive Black women. We have one who openly claims and loves to pander to Black women. He said that out of his own mouth. I'm going to play some of it. And then we have the other one, Accountable Commentary, who is pushing the lockout and is basically pushing that no Black men ever deal with what he calls Keisha, which is basically Black women, right? That Black men completely leave the Keishas behind. So I'm gonna share, first of all, I'm gonna share a little bit of Afro Think Tank. He's a content creator who says he is happy to pander and speak positively to Black women. And I want to share some of what he has to say And like I said, I think he represents one opposite side of the spectrum of the accountable commentators of the world, right? Or that side which says we don't want nothing to do with y'all. So okay, let me pull up the first video. Shout out to you guys on first the love on the Cash App. It says it doesn't matter how old videos are, it's still BS, right? So this is somebody who just isn't buying it. This one again. Shout out to you for the 5. It says, once again, you were not going to hold their feet to the fire. Black women push us black men away, and now they have to fit. Oh, okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay, thanks for the 5. This one says, black men need mandatory paternity testing, 50-50 custody. Yeah, I actually agree with that. I've long been a supporter of mandatory paternity testing. But here it says, same chicks were saying abort black male babies. Yeah, I mean, listen. I was pissed the hell off when I heard that. The abort black male babies, I was that made my blood boil. That to me is one of the most disturbing things. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say all black women said that. Cynthia G specifically said that. Let's just be very clear. Cynthia G was the one who said that. I am not claiming that, and nor am I putting that on all black women. She said that. She's the one that promoted that. Now, with that, she did have a group of obviously very upset, bitter, and angry women who supported her. She did. So I'm not going to deny that because that obviously happened. And the fact that her channel is even back up now is really interesting because I'm like, she literally got removed for that reason, but now she's back just a few months up. So that's a whole other thing. But nevertheless, yes, she did say that. And she did have black women who said that. But as a black woman, I do not identify with that. I do not support that. I push against that. I have never supported abortion. I will not. And I certainly don't support aborting black male babies, the deletion of black male babies. Because that's evil to me, I believe that's evil on multiple levels. Like, I don't think you should not use abortion as birth control. That's not how this is supposed to work. That's not how this works. And that's why people are screwed up partially. That's why some of these ladies got mental issues and they're on all kind of antidepressants and on bipolar stuff and whatever. It's like, because there's so much energy. Like, because there literally was so much like negative energy they're introducing into their life when they literally are like deleting a human from their body. Like, ladies don't understand, like, this isn't just like you're going to the bathroom, you're getting your teeth cleaned, you're doing your hair. Like, people like to present it like that. Like, deleting a baby is something that is very, very minuscule and you can just do it and it has no impact on your conscious or your spiritual or emotional well-being. People can lie about that, but the reality is that lands. And even if a woman is not aware, even if she is not aware and she sits here and acts like she's happy about it, trust and believe there's something in her life that is in disarray as a result, especially if she keeps on doing it over and over and over and over again. Did not mean to get on a tangent, but that is horrible. And it's so crazy to me that ladies like to sit around and complain about black men supposedly killing black women or deleting black women what's that lie every 15 seconds or whatever. It's like that lie that I debunked that a few years ago. But it's this whole idea of like, oh, every hour or something, right? Pretty frequently, a black man is like unaliving a black woman and they're so violent. So there is all this propaganda about supposedly how much black men are unaliving black women, but nobody wants to sit here and talk about the amount of deletions that are happening in the womb of black women and what that is literally doing to them spiritually. Like, it's not a joke. It's not a game. And then we sit here and wonder why there's so much disarray. It's like, what have you done? What have you been doing? How have you been literally sowing into the destruction, into the deceit of your own community? So that, like I said, don't get me on a tangent. Okay. Let me see over here. Let me play. So I'm going to play real quick. I'm going to play this video real quick of Afro Think Tank. This is a man who, like I said, is very, very open about his love for black women. And in this video, he talks about why he likes to pander to black women. Okay.
What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. And today I'm going to pander to black women. I'm going to pander to black women because you know how all the weirdo men on the internet, how they hate men who pander to black women. especially because they hate black women. So they want all other men to hate black women. But listen, I'm a real black man. And as a real black man, I love women. I like to look at them. I love to listen to them. I love all that, right? First thing I do every morning is I wake up and I see my beautiful black wife. My beautiful wife who is as black as a night. I get to wake up and see her and be like, damn, that woman is fine. So I do that, right? And I say that to say this whole video, you know, my wife may be mad, but I don't think she will, right? Because she gonna understand where I'm coming from.
Best way to get rid of stinky dog breath? Crunchy veggies for natural cleaning? Nope. Green chews from the pet store?
Despite all the trash talking about black women that I see on the internet, the negative, there is a universe of negativity towards black women on the internet, right? And there are some black women that are being less than what they're capable of being. They are being less than what is expected of them, right? Same as men, right? But to be honest, right, in 2024, I truly enjoy getting on the internet and scrolling through my curated algorithmic YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok pages and seeing all the beautiful women in every sector of entertainment. I absolutely love it, right? And the one beautiful thing about black women is they are just as beautiful on camera, you know, as they are in real life. Or should I say it the other way? They're just as beautiful in real life than as what I see on the camera, right? The black woman. And as a black man, like I said, I enjoy looking at women. I don't want to look at a bunch of dudes. The only time I want to see some dude on the internet is if he's having an intellectual conversation with somebody, if he's teaching me something, or if he got a sword or a gun or a freaking magic wizard stick and he's doing like this and blowing something up or something like that. That's when I want to see action. All right, I want to see that.
Okay, what's going on? What's going on, Dr. T is on? It's great to see you. It is so good to see you in the building. It says loving and pandering are not the same thing. I completely and totally agree. It's funny because I've seen some of y'all in the comment section. Y'all, that's going to be a whole nother video. I sat down and watched Pop the Balloon over the weekend. Total side note. I was so upset. I don't really watch Pop the Balloon like that. And actually sitting down and watching it over the weekend, I see why. That was so upsetting. Like just the one episode I saw, there were 100%, I think with the exception of like one or two of the men there were, you know, handsome, fit, educated black men who had probably well over six figures. Like these were top tier men. And all of those men got turned away for just literally BS reasons. It was one was like, he's too short. I think one of the dudes was like 5'9". The girl was 5'7", said he was too short. I'm like, what? Huh? Other stuff was like, I don't like the way his sleeve looks. Like what? You don't like the way his sleeve look? Like just random stuff. Like, I don't know, just something about him. Like just the most insane, some of the most insanely idiotic reasons I saw these men being turned away for a first date. We're not even talking about marriage, people. We're not even talking about, it's not like you're going to have to marry this person and say, I do. It's like, y'all can go and have some coffee, but these dudes didn't even qualify. These, mind you, handsome, all these men that were very handsome, right? They were fit, they were lean, right? They had good jobs. They were making good money. All of these men, they couldn't even freaking get a coffee date because, they didn't like the jeans. I'm like, if y'all don't get off the show, I was upset. I was like, I literally cannot watch the show too often because it makes me so upset to see, literally so upset to see the amount of like legitimate connections that can be made that are just completely shut down over like stupid stuff, like real stupid stuff. And that goes back to what I've said before. In my opinion, Black American women specifically, right? Let me talk about Black American women. They're their own group. Specifically, are single by choice. We cannot blame Black men for the marriage rates by and large. Yes, I'm saying that yes, we understand relationships. There's two parts of that, right? But first of all, Black men are more married more than Black women. Like, we just have to own that. We just have to just let that settle in. Secondly, Black women are single by choice. Black American women are specifically single by choice. It is not a value. There is no ring by spring. We don't grow up hearing ring by spring. That's something white women hear. That's something white conservative women specifically hear in like different church circles, or if they're Mormon or whatever. They're the ones who are being told ring by spring. They're the ones who are being told go to college and get you a husband. Then Black women are told that they need to have fun. They need to get to know themselves. They need to get their money and their job and their career. And so a lot of these ladies, they go on these dating shows, you know that they're not interested in a relationship. You know that they just want attention. You know, they just want validation. You know, they just want, their 15 minutes of fame. That's all they want. It's so obvious. But these same women will say that they eventually want to get married, but they don't want to get married any sooner than like 35. They don't want to start thinking about marriage until maybe they're 35, right? So I'm like, yeah, Black women are single by choice. We are like, and there needs to be like a collective reckoning with the fact that many have chosen their side. That's it. Single by choice. Don't have the mindset to get married. Don't have the desire to even know what that is. They would like a wedding now. A wedding day wouldn't mind. I don't know what woman out there who wouldn't mind a wedding day. Wedding all day, every day. Engagement all day, every day. Pictures of the engagement process. You know what I mean? The little photos of how you propose. Putting that on IG, putting that on TikTok. Hashtag viral weddings. Like all day, every day. They want that. But as far as the marriage and as far as the building associated with a marriage and family, no. It's just not a value. So like, can we just sit here and just be honest? Have like a moment of truth. That is obviously not a value in Black American culture. It's not. That's not to say that Black women don't have the capacity to be wives. That's not to say that Black families can't thrive. Like obviously, I mean, many of us have examples in our own family of maybe great grandparents or whatever who were married and have families. Like we know what happens, but I'm just saying today, that is obviously not an ethos. Thanks feminism. Feminism had a lot to do with that. And like shows that pop the balloon, to me, they put all that in Front Street. I know I just wanted a big tangent, but that show really just made me mad. Because I seen some of y'all talking about, oh, you had a professor come up in there, he would walk in and just boom, 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 boom. Anytime a man is articulate, you can't really be an articulate Black man. The men who got the most interest in there were the ones who had tattoos. They all had tattoos and they all had a little bit of an accent, a little bit of swag. But the ones who like you could tell were very educated, spoke more proper English, if you will, had tech jobs, were well dressed or whatever. They just didn't hit it, and nobody could give a substantial reason. It was just like, oh well, it's just like because the way you walked out, it looked like you were walking a little too slow. Like I like a man who walks fast. Like just stupid stuff. You know what I mean? I'm just making that one up. I'm just dumb stuff that has nothing to do with actually finding somebody who could be a husband or a wife. None of it. Okay, this one says, I swear these women are practically giving Black men away to their groups, only complain later. The lies that these women, literally, okay, and another tangent, because y'all got me on tangents right now, right? I don't say tangents, but to add anecdotally to what you're saying. So I'm married to a Black man, obviously, right? That goes without saying. But he has many friends who are successful, attractive Black men who are single. And when I tell you how the amount of women they have to, and especially the amount of non-Black women, let's just say that too, the amount of non-Black women that they have access to. It's no joke. It is no joke. And, I've sat here and I've watched and I've said, with the way that these men are moving, many of these men, trying to establish, whether it be their own businesses or trying to establish things with the community, like having a vision to build, finding a very hard time finding Black women who are interested in building with them or who honestly don't want to take advantage of them on some level. And when I say take advantage, what I'm saying is some ladies will say, oh, they really want to be a part of your vision, but honestly, they just really want to have sex with you and they really want you to give them a time and attention. Like they want you to treat them like basically wifey before you guys are even at that level. So like I've had a chance to see firsthand how these men have to navigate as they're trying to push towards their vision, as they're trying to build and do things that they are really passionate about and have the capacity to do. And, you know, I sit here and I'm thinking, I'm like, you know what? Honestly, I could see easily how all of these Black men could end up with a white girl. It just so happens these men that I know, many of them are committed to being with a Black woman. And so they oftentimes will turn down, or they just wait, they may not engage in white women in that sense, but it's not for lack of opportunity. And if one of those brothers out there, if one of them said, you know what, I'm just going to be open to the woman who gives me the most support. And you had Becky with the good hair showing up there and supporting his vision as he's building the Black community, supporting his vision as he's, you know, tutoring young kids or doing whatever. It's like, I can't even be mad at that. I really can't. Like, I really, really can't be mad, because I've had the chance to see with my own eyes, the kind of women who are willing to go alongside a man as he's building towards something. And going back to another ethos that a lot of ladies are told in the Black community, I don't even know where they get the stuff from, but it's like, they don't want to build with a man. They don't want to walk alongside. Like, they don't want to be a helpmate. They want to come. A lot of ladies want to come at the end game. They don't want to sit there and have to go through the ups and the downs associated with a person pursuing, whether it's pursuing their career or just going through the process that Black men go through when they are elevating in whatever capacity. Like, a lot don't necessarily want to have to go through that, but you have other cultures who might be willing to go through those moments more so than Black women. And of course, I'm not saying this is always the case, but I'm like, I can speak from the standpoint of being in the San Francisco Bay Area, where it's really diverse. When you're diverse, if you're a Black man out here and you're on your game and you have resources, there is no lack of opportunity. There are plenty of women out who are not Black, who are attractive, who might actually be willing to work with you. And so from that vantage point, it was like, yeah, I could understand. I really could understand why some men will see themselves or find themselves getting drawn into these situations and then falling in love and marrying women of other races, because literally some of them just make it super simple. Like my friend who I had on the interview I did like a year or two ago or something, one of my white friends, and we've talked about this, and she was talking to me about, you know, advice that moms give sometimes, white moms will give sometimes, and be like, okay, you know, if you're dating this man, you know, make sure you cook him some food, make sure you do this. And of course, I'm not saying this is every white family. I'm not saying this is every white person, because I know there's white folks out there who are just as messed up. But I just, what I'm trying to speak to, again, is going back to cultural ethos. I think we know pretty well that marriage and family is not something that Black American women are raised up valuing. It's an afterthought once they've had their fun and their experience, but there's really no training on what that looks like. And it's super obvious. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I live in the Bay Area. For those of y'all, I live in the Bay. And then some of you guys are asking. Okay. So yeah, I think I got that once where these women are practically, yeah. So you got me on these tangents. Okay. Dr. Steele says, Danica Marie has been alluding to the situation on and off about Black women who realize how much they need Black men, but for some, yeah, I talked about this too. Listen, if you haven't already, go back and check some of my last videos, Dr. Steele, because I've covered this off in detail. There's videos after videos of women who are literally like, y'all, some can call it hitting the wall, but reality is slamming them straight in the face. And this is partially why we're having this conversation, because I'm like, okay, so all of a sudden I'm seeing all these Black women affirmation videos. Have y'all always been here? Were y'all always here and you were just quiet and the algorithm was just hiding you or something? Or are we deep in the reachback era? Like, is a recession reachback super real? And I know some of y'all over here are just like, yeah, the recession reachback is real. Egg prices must be sky high. Gas is crazy. These ladies cannot afford rent. And how many of y'all have had big head text messages that you are now trying to... How many of y'all have text messages and stuff from exes that are trying to slide back into your DMs who didn't give you time of day? You know, it's just interesting times. Okay, so let me continue. Yeah, there's an explosion of, yep. I covered that off. If you haven't had a chance, Ray, I think last week I want to say 2 videos about that specifically. Van life, Black woman being quote unquote single by choice. You had, what's her name, that for I think Dawn Robinson from In Vogue, who came out and admitted that she, like, literally a professional singer, And like a very well-known, a very successful professional singer is literally homeless living in a van. So it's a real thing out here. Okay, he said, hey, big head. Okay, let me finish. I was just going to play some of this, and then I was going to go after this, look into a convo commentary, because what I'm wanting to do, guys, is show you the different perspective and mindset we have going on right now with respect to how men are showing up and what men are thinking. What men are thinking. The video that I showed y'all towards the end, of the 8-minute affirmation, if you guys haven't had a chance to watch it, do so. What was so interesting is at the end, the girl who basically was having an interview with a black man, she actually, I think, did this whole page where she did affirmations to black men for like 2 years. She has a whole page dedicated to that. And to my understanding, she started this a few years ago. So yeah, so I think she's coming from a more genuine place. But what was interesting is when she is talking, she basically said, like, I never thought to actually listen to black men. I never thought to study them. I just always assumed that they were going to be there. I just assumed that they were always going to be there, right? So she admits this at the end. And so, again, I'm saying this because I think there is this misconception that a lot of ladies have that like men are just always going to be there. Like, and we don't really need to listen to what they have to say, or we don't need to hear what they have to say, because the assumption is that they're just there and they're not going anywhere. They need us. Right? That's what some of these people think. That's what some of these people think. So I'm like, when you're starting to see, you know, men grabbing their passports and you're seeing more of these movements, like for some ladies, it's very shocking because in their brain, they're like, y'all can't go nowhere. Like, we own you. Y'all can't, like, huh? Like, you need us. Right? But not everybody feels that way. Clearly, not all black men feel that way. Clearly. And that's what I want. That's what I want to get across, that particularly for ladies who are saying that, you know, if you are a serious one and you want to really find love and really be in a serious relationship, then you actually have to listen. And there actually has to be action to back that up. And doing an affirmation video or two, and then, you know, trying to talk in your soft feminine voice, and, you know, trying to like walk more slowly, and, you know, like all these things that isn't hitting it. Like, there has to be legitimate proof that you are actually real, that you're real. And a lot of dudes these days, as evinced in these comments, aren't buying it. They're not buying the performative femininity anymore. They're just not. But then you also have, like I said, dudes like Afro Think Tank, who's out here like, hey, I'm supporting all y'all. So, okay, let me finish what he has to say. Like I said, he's on the far end of the other spectrum, but he does speak for some black men, right? There are black men who agree with what he says. They're going to ride a black woman 100% of the time. Black American women can do no wrong. Black women can do no wrong. Most black women are queens. Most black women are positive, rock with black men, like, and they really believe that. And so that's why I want to listen to him, because he does speak for some black men. Okay.
And sometimes I want to see females do that too, right? For the most part, I get to scroll around on my YouTube shorts and see every delectable type of black woman there is. I mean, I'm telling you, my algorithm is, because I'm Pan-African, my algorithm is blackity, blackity. And I know a lot of African Americans algorithms may not curate towards the rest of the African world outside of Africa, or outside, you know, or in Africa, right? My algorithm is touching on every corner of black society. So I get to wake up and see these beautiful, beautiful South African women come up with the latest, most beautiful South African music and dance with their majestic body, their body frames that wasn't purchased. I get to see some of the most beautiful faces when I see South Africans doing their thing. Beautiful. I'm talking just when I see, I'm like,
the truth is, behind closed doors, the P word.
Yeah, I got premium on my personal.
You
say this, and I see somebody in the reviews like, you ain't doing YouTube premium. Yeah, I got premium on my personal, but for some reason it does not let me do premium on my brand for whatever reason on my channel. Okay.
Damn, she is fine. Look, they're so fine. When I'm looking at South America, South Africa, even when I'm looking at freedom fighters speaking their mind, you know, women doing other things than peacocking, right? Because, you know, that's the thing that we do. They still just to be the most beautiful. I see their minds flowing, these South African women, when they're protesting against their government or protesting against anything that's going wrong in their country. You know, there's a lot of them out there doing it, right? And I'll be like, what planet did these beautiful, exotic black women come from? They're just absolutely too fine. And then we move over to Uganda, right? Uganda, you know, thanks to O'Shea putting Uganda on the map, you know, I get to see these beautiful minds of Uganda with these beautiful chocolate faces. I'd be like, damn. Look, I know East Africa got a little bit forehead, right? Look, Africans in general got a little bit forehead. Ain't nothing wrong with it. As long as the thing is shined up nice, right? But usually following that big, beautiful, shiny forehead is a beautiful face with beautiful bone structures and beautiful minds. I get to, there's these twin women from East Africa, I think it's Uganda. They are absolutely beautiful. You see their bone structure, majestic, royal, just bone structure that people fight to have. They have it. And not only do they have that, and I'm not just saying that they're just beautiful, they are intelligent and inquisitive.
So y'all, I mean, I think y'all said talk to Uber. You should shout out to us. So this man, he clearly he loves black women. What's going on, Carl, for president? To say, hey, oh my gosh, I can't stand this kid, nice guy, but man, pull his well. Okay, so you're not. So I guess you're not a fan. I know some of y'all in here are like just are not. Y'all are petty for these comments. Y'all are so petty. No, I haven't had a chance to talk to him personally, but he seemed like a cool dude. I know some of y'all are not happy per se with the pandering, but like I said, he's explaining why. He's explaining why he thinks that as a black man is totally, completely acceptable to love and in his words, listen to and pander to black women. He says it come off as not genuine. Honestly, I think some of it is a little like, I think he's trolling a little slightly. I think he's slightly trolling. You know what I mean? Like, obviously he loves black people. He loves black men and black women. He goes hard for black women, but I think some of it's a little trolling in response. Because to my understanding, he does not walk with the manosphere. I don't quote me on that, but I think he does have some really, negative things to say with respect to the manosphere. But don't quote me on that. But yeah, so again, I wanted to play a little bit of his stuff because again, I know some of y'all may not agree, but at the end of the day, he represents, like, there are black men out here who this is where they're coming from when they are entering the dating and mating market. This is where they're coming from. It's like, I'm going to rock with you. I'm going to love you. And here's why, right? And he's, talking about black women all across the diaspora, not limiting it to America. He's talking about black women from South Africa. To my understanding, I want to say he lives in America, but I think he does business abroad, or goes back and forth abroad regularly. So anyways, I just wanted to share some of this because this is what I'm hearing from you guys. This is what I'm hearing from some of the men. Some of them, they are rocking with black women. They're rocking with black women just irregardless. Okay. Now I'm going to follow that up with the total opposite side of the spectrum. Some content from Accountable Commentary. Now, to my understanding, based upon the little that I've seen, he does not like black women and wants black men to completely avoid as much as possible black women. Like, that's his goal. He said that openly. He's like, his goal is to have black women avoid Keisha's completely. So right now, again, we're in the era of the recession reachback, right? We're in the era where you have black men out there on the dating market. Some of them are genuine. Some of them are in the reachback, and the people are in between. So we know where black women are coming from, but I wanted to give a sense of, okay, what's going on? What are men thinking? What is the sentiment going on with respect to black men? So we have Afro Think Tank, who represents really the one side of the extreme, which is black women are amazing. They're beautiful. They're all great for the most part. There's a few bad apples, but they're mostly great. And I'm a rock with black women till the end. So you have that side. Then you have the other side I'm about to show you, Accountable Commentary, where he wants black men to completely avoid black women, all black women, any way, shape, or form. So I'm gonna play some of his content, and then we're gonna go from there.
The first thing I wanted to talk about.
Actually, you know what? Real quick. For those of you guys here, let me see where these likes are at. Before I play that, let me see how these likes are doing, y'all. Treat me right. Get those likes up if you are joining me, please. Yeah, like, share, subscribe. Y'all know the drill. Let's see where we are at. I'm trying to see where we're at. Yeah, so get those likes up. Actually, I'm gonna play real quickly a quick break in between, and then I'm going to hop into what Accountable Commentary has to say. Okay.
Was the first thing I wanted to talk about, right? Was what I got tired of hearing. I got tired of hearing certain things. I got tired of hearing, there's some decent ones out there. I got tired of hearing that. I got sick of it. When I first stepped on the scene, I got a lot of pushback. All the day ones who were around, you saw it. This is the lockout station. That was my point, and it still is. After all these years later, that's my point. You've done enough. You've done enough. That was my point. My point was, and still is, you've done enough. They don't want to be under your leadership. They don't want to listen to you. They don't want to respect you. They don't even want to smile for you. Enough is enough. Lockout. It's lockout season. I'm telling brothers all Keishas, stay away from them. All, not some. I'm not here to debate. I don't care about people looking at my argument and wanting to pick it apart. I could care less. I don't care about these people. I don't care. Anybody who's listening to me, right, understand what I mean and know what I say and know why I'm saying it. I don't care about nobody else looking at my argument and saying, oh, you can't do this. You can't do that. Oh, you feel that way? Kick rocks. I don't care. I don't care. Only thing I care about is black men staying away. That's it. That's my ultimate goal, is to get black men to stay away. That's all I care about. That's all I care about. I only care about black men. That's all I care about. That's my track record. I don't care about nobody else. I don't care. I don't care about Brad. I don't care about Hector. I don't care about Lee. I don't care about Becky. I don't care about Maria. I don't care about Raj. I don't care about Marrakesh. I only care about black men. I'm a black man. I've seen what black men have been going through. I spent years on this channel giving history lessons on what they've been doing. It's time to lock out.
Okay, so that was just a short snippet from some of his content, accountable commentary. I see some of you guys in here. Some of you guys look like you listen to accountable commentary. Some of you guys look like you used to listen to accountable commentary. You no longer do, or just think that he's a little bit too extreme. But nevertheless, I wanted to share, again, two opposite sides of the spectrum, right? You have the accountable commentaries of the world who want nothing to do with Black women and are encouraging Black men to completely go the other way. Then you have the other side of the spectrum, people like Afro Think Tank, who are going to ride with Black women until the end and has nothing, for the most part, nothing but positive things to say to Black women. And so, again, I wanted to share those opposite sides of the spectrum because that really represents what is going on today. Like, and then obviously there are men who find themselves in between, right? Many of you guys that I've had the opportunity to interact with, many of you may have the perspective of you may desire and you wish to be with a Black woman, but there's concern as to whether or not you can find someone out there who you can really work with, who would either value you, who would be willing to work with you, be a helpmeet, who will be willing to follow your vision, and so there's that, right? Those are some genuine concerns. Now, for those of you guys who are just hopping on right now, let me give you also a quick recap of how I started out this live. I started out this live showing basically 8 minutes of Black women who were affirming Black men, right? And this is kind of strange, honestly, given the last however many decades of content and just media messages out there where we basically see Black women openly going on media, going on different platforms, talking about how deficient Black men are and how deficient Black men have been. So I think a lot of Black men are used to that thing. They're used to that interaction. Honestly, this is the kind of stuff that
as I think a man, if you don't have house, car, job.
This is what Black men are used to seeing. This is what Black men are used to seeing.
As a man, if you don't have house, car, job, don't look for a woman with house, car, job. And for the man that complain about women that do that, look for a man that has all three and they don't have all three. We can do that. We are women. You want us. You need us. Y'all want one thing from us. And mad because we boss y'all around because you're a fucking servant. You're a provider, right? You're a protector, right? You're a security guard and you're a goddamn assistant. Know your place. Stop being contradicting. And bow down. Because I'm sick of it.
Right. So when some of y'all think of Black women, that's what you think about. That is honestly what comes to mind. Now, obviously, she is not well. Like that goes without saying. There's a lot going on there. That's what some of you guys are used to. What you're not expecting is this.
I love you, Black man. I just need you to know. You may be misunderstood, but your brilliance, it shows. Why do you think so many are threatened by you? They can see that bright aura, that powerful hue. I love you, Black man. You may be flawed just like me, but no matter what this world says, you're a king originally. You lead with strength and authority, commanding attention and adoration naturally. See, I love me some Black men. The way your brown skin blends in with mine. You make me forget about all my problems and remind me to be present for this moment in time. You are sublime. And you deserve your flowers too. So if no one else says it, I'm saying I love you. Thank you for being the rock that we need. Protecting and providing ain't as easy as y'all make it seem. You got a globe on your shoulder, but no one sees the weight you carry. This is a safe space to set it down. I know you're worn and weary. I see you, Black man. But regardless of my truth, I pray that you see your value. I pray that you love you. Because you deserve to be loved on. You're needed, Black man. I'm just reminding you of your worth. Signed, a Black man stand.
So some of y'all, you're not expecting that. You're not expecting that. Shout out to you, Comedy says this is better marketing from Black women. I mean, honestly, the marketing over the last few decades has been horrible. Horrible. Honestly, I think Black women by and large could take notes from Asian women. I think they could take notes. Because obviously, you know, there's challenges. Every culture has their own challenges. And we all obviously know that Asian women, they can be deep into the swirling thing just as much as Black women. But they have, their branding is amazing. They have the reputation of being really submissive, even when they're not. Because Asian women that I know, and Asian people that I know will tell you, like, there is this thing with Asian moms. There is this thing about like Asian moms. I don't know what it is, but like they don't take no. It's just a thing. It is a thing. This whole like, oh, they're just gonna, you know, submissive all the time, and you know, they just don't have nothing to say, and they're just so easy. It's like, that's branding. Because if you talk to actual Asian women, they will tell you, yeah, the tiger mom, they will straight tell you. But what I'm saying is, nevertheless, there's a reality of what can happen, but then there's the marketing. Asian women, by and large, have the reputation of being some of the most cooperative, easy to get along with, submissive women, even when they're not. Even when they're really not. Even when they're running the household. Like, because listen, let me tell you, I have Asian friends who have told me specifically that was their dynamic growing up, and they have their challenges with their own mom. So that's what I'm saying. Like every culture has their challenges, every culture has their isms. But I'm saying, like, if you look at Asian women, they are seen by and large as women as being like really, you know, nice to be around, easy to get along with, like very cooperative. Their branding is amazing. Even though they swirl, they're trying to swirl just as much. And even though they are not as always as submissive and as cooperative as folks think, but their branding is on point. Black women, the branding was horrible. It's absolutely horrible. It's horrible. It's been horrible for decades. And honestly, that's by choice. That also is by choice. Black women, by and large, are single by choice. I've argued that before, that Black women want to be single. That's why many are. Now, in the recession, or the coming recession, okay, some may find that that's just not necessarily as much of a possibility. You know, when I talked to Mr. Z briefly last week, he mentioned the Golden Girls era. He's like, we're kind of getting to the Golden Girls era where folks might start to find out that they don't necessarily have a choice but to learn how to get along with somebody. Singleness may get to the point where it's actually a luxury that only the elite can enjoy. A luxury. But it may get to the point to where some of these folks can't even, some of these ladies in particular, because by and large, what your average Black woman in America, apart from all the stuff you've seen on social media, your average Black woman right now is making what? Just around $45,000. Just making just around $45,000 annually. Compare that with the level of inflation and the cost of eggs or whatever. It was like, some of y'all may not even have the luxury of being able to be all by yourself, be strong and independent by yourself, boss babe. Some of y'all literally won't be able to afford that. And so you're going to have to look at other options. Those options may be van life. Some ladies are doing the van life. I talked about it exclusively last week. Some of y'all going to just do the van life and basically be homeless by choice, literally. Some of y'all going to do the Golden Girls thing and have five of y'all in maybe a 1-2 bedroom apartment, or 3, however much you work it out. Maybe share a house for those who are maybe on the higher income. Some of y'all may actually realize that you actually do need a man. You do need a man, and you can't do it by yourself, right? So we talked about this last week. So that's really what I wanted to cover off some of these different things, because I think with all that is going on in the economy, and with all that is changing in the culture, and particularly in America, the nation, and then how this is actually starting to have ramifications worldwide, you know, it really begs the question of, what are we going to see? What can we see? Are we in the era of the recession reachback? Are we just seeing ladies who are already deep into the reachback? I do think there's some of that happening. I do think there's some ladies who are moonwalking backwards. But then my question was, what would it actually take? Because I know there's men right now who are listening to me. Even if you're skeptical, you at the end of the day still would love to be with a Black woman who you knew was genuine. That would be your first choice. That would be your first choice if you could have it. If you right, you would love that. But I'm wondering, what would it take? What would it take for a Black man who finds himself in that position to know that a woman who is showing interest is actually genuine and not just wanting something from him, whether it be, his money? Because a lot of ladies just want the money. You know what I mean? Like, what would it take? And that I can't necessarily say I have a total answer to that per se. But it's certainly an interesting question. So you guys, while you guys are thinking about that, be sure to like, share, subscribe. I have almost 400 people here, guys. So be sure to show some love on the Cash App or Venmo. It looks like I see some of you guys over here who are trying to call in. Help me reach my goal. If you help me reach my goal, then I'll be happy to have you guys call in. I'm going to go on a short break. So while you guys are helping me reach my goal, I can stay on in a few minutes. If you guys help me reach my goal, like I said, happy to have some of you guys come up. I wanted to follow this up again. Shout out to first of all, let me say this. Let me say this. I will add my initial thought is a lady who actually is genuine. First of all, she's going to show that in her own actions. She's going to show that in her actions. And she's going to make it a point to try to at least understand where her man is coming from. In my personal opinion, Dr. T. Hassan Johnson should be one of the most well-respected scholars and one of the most watched and viewed YouTubers out here in the Black space. There should be women who are in his comment section, supporting him, taking his classes, buying his books. Like, in my brain, that's like at least a step one. You have to immerse yourself. Try to understand where they're coming from. There has to be at least a desire to listen. Because here's the crazy thing about it. The standards right now are so low. The standards are like so incredibly low. Like, men really are not asking for a lot. They're really not asking for a lot. And I want to let me show you exactly why. Like, what it would take I think, by and large, for a lady to even have even minimal success, it's actually it's simple stuff. Men are asking for simple stuff. Like, treat us like human beings. Treat us actually like humans. See us as a human being. Listen to us. Care about what we have to say. You know what I mean? Like, basic stuff. And I sat here and I had a conversation last week with men who sat there and admitted that they would be willing to literally date and be with a homeless woman if she was attractive, if she was cooperative, and if she was willing to get in this program. They sat there and said that they would date a homeless woman. So I'm like, the standards right now, honestly, and the qualifications that I see a lot of men have even to this day are like so basic and simple. Let me show you this video that I saw that I thought, again, illustrates this point perfectly. Where I'm like, bro, like, these men are not asking for the moon. It's the most basic stuff. Let me share this right here.
That be so easy.
Right here. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let me try. This always happens.
Interested in a man? You want to know what I say? You want to know what I say to him? I ain't trying to get myself in no trouble either. But you want to know what I say? You want to know how I be in the conversation? Because y'all be so easy. Y'all be so easy.
She said, y'all be so easy. She's telling y'all. She said, she's talking about how easy it is for her to just have a conversation, have interest. She's starting the conversation by saying, this is so easy. These men are not asking for the moon. She said, is she an anime character? She's actually not. No, that's a real woman. Now, it might be the filters. Y'all know the filters these days are, but no. Okay, let me play this real quick. Because this, right, what she said right here, and then look in the comment section, goes back to me being like, wow, like, even with all the complications going on right now, like, the standards are super low. Like, by and large, I don't feel that men are asking for a ton. Like, there's a lot of dudes out here who would really be willing to work with very little. Truly. And listen, I understand. I'm not sitting here and saying that, like, we know that there are black men out there who have problems. We know that. We know that there are black men out there that have it, because black men love to sit around and talk about how black men are gay or snow bunnied, or they are emotionally broken, or they're narcissist, or they're DL, or they're like black women. So ladies love to sit around and talk about all the deficiencies of black men. But I'm like, can we just be honest? Like, we know that there are black men that have issues, but that's not every black man. And anybody that's in a relationship understands that people can grow and evolve. But you don't need to be a rocket scientist. If for the majority of human history, people got together on their level, that could still happen today. But the reason that's not happening is partially because what I believe, these crazy standards, a broken down toxic culture. But this lady, she's going to sit here and explain to you really how easy it is to just even get an interest. We're talking just like step one. Come here.
You want to know what I say? I just ask. I ask you real questions like, who's taking care of you? And then y'all start fumbling through y'all shit like, what? Fumbling in your phone and shit, reaching in your pockets and shit, head down. No. Who be taking care of you? Why you ask me that? Because a man like you deserve to be taken care of. Unless I don't see what I think I'm looking at. Unless my eyes deceive me. Because I be watching you and I see how hard you work. And you know, a hard-working man deserves to be taken care of. Who's taking care of you? What you eat last night? Who fed you? Did you like it? You like that? That's the kind of stuff I say. I don't know what y'all be saying, but that's the kind of stuff that I say.
Okay. So y'all, this is the whole affirmations for black men. FYI. This is where I've seen some of this content. Now, I don't know how long it's been up, but there's some interesting stuff in here. But this is where you're going to see a lot of black women talk about how much they love they black men. Listen to this. Okay, this one right here. She was a single mother. She was a single mother that talks about how grateful that she is for her now husband, who ended up being a stepdad, for basically changing her life.
I just want to give you your flowers. Like, you are an awesome man. You're amazing. And we are very blessed to have you. Not, like I said in the last episode when I was like, oh, I thought she was too good. And it's like, it wasn't that you were too good. You just was on your path to becoming who you are today. And it was like, me, I wasn't on the path yet. I was just stagnant. Right. So when you came into my life, and it's kind of like you brought me with you, you made me realize who I am.
Wait, listen, she said, I wasn't on the path yet. I just was there. You said the sound is low. I don't know how to bring that sound up. Yeah, I think it's that video. But basically, okay, I might do a whole separate on this, because she basically sits here and she's praising her husband. And she admits, and she was just like, listen, when I met you, you were on a program, you were doing things, and I didn't really have nowhere to go. I wasn't really about nothing, but you came alongside and you saved me. And so I'm grateful. So yeah, like I said, that's a whole different, I might just do a whole video on that. I know some of you guys are saying the sound is low. That I think has to do with the audio. That has to do, I think, with their audio. But my point is, okay, so let me go back to what some of y'all was saying about the first lady. I know some of y'all are saying that it seemed a little creepy. Some of y'all are saying, I don't know, that seems just like it's giving gold digger vibes. Let me actually go back to the comments, because when I saw, let me see. I don't think I can do that. I can do that. Anyways, the comment section, the video that I showed you with the lady who was talking about how all she has to say to a man is who's taking care of you. There are all kind of dudes in there who were just drooling. Now, obviously, we know. I said social media is its own world. We don't know how many comments were deleted or whatever. But for the most part, there are guys in there who are just like, yeah, that's all we want. You actually want a woman who wants to take care of, not like take care of us like a child, but who is a helpmeet, who is a feminine who is a feminine helpmeet. Basic stuff. We're not asking for anything crazy. You said I heard enough of that. Accustomed to. Like I said, some of y'all are so used to this.
As a man, if you don't have house core job, don't look for a woman with house core job. And for the man that complain about women that do that, look for a man that has all three and they don't have all three. We can do that. We are women. You want us. You need us. Y'all want one thing from us. And mad because we boss y'all around because you're a fucking servant. You're a provider, right? You're a protector, right? You're a security guard. And you're a goddamn, know your place. Stop being contradicting. And bow down. Because I'm sick of it.
Right. So for some of y'all, that's literally what you're like, that's what you're used to. That's what you're used to. So anything that doesn't come like that, now you're like, is this even real? Like, can I even trust this? Because I done heard this basically for how many decades now? So when this comes along, you're like, huh?
Thank you for being everything a black woman needs. We love you, black men.
Black men, I love how you provide and are a pillar for your family.
Right? So when you hear that kind of stuff, you're like, wait, huh? I love you, black men. What? Huh? What are you talking about? So let me see right here. It says, requiring loyalty from a black woman today is asking. Nah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I'm like, I mean, obviously nobody should be, as a man, nobody should be dealing with a woman who's not willing to be loyal. Like that's just, at that point, that's no different than being a prostitute. Get it. That's just no different to me being a prostitute. This one says the great separation. Yes. Let me also say this too. To a certain extent, we do know water seeks its own level, like attracts like. So, the woman who goes out there and talks about how toxic men are and how she's only attracts thugs and she only attracts dudes who just want to run through her, want to beat her up. Obviously, my first thought was going to be, okay, so who's the common denominator in all that, right? Like what energy are you putting off to where that is all you find? Who are you around? Who are you around? Where's that old saying, "A birds of a feather flock together"? Like there's an element of truth to that. Your surroundings and who you surround yourself with is going to play a role. So if you're a person and all you surround yourself is with broken relationships around broken people who have broken toxic habits and have horrible success, then don't be surprised when your life is reminiscent of that. But on the other side, if you're around people who have healthy relationships, who have healthy marriages, who are in that space, and that's possible, then you may not be so quick to just completely write off the whole thing. You might actually now find yourself in spaces with like-minded people, and you might actually find it easier than for you to then connect with somebody on that level. Like I said, for me, when I really got serious and I was like, I want to be married. I don't want to be sitting up here doing girls' nights. I don't want to be sitting up here doing these girls single prayer breakfasts all the time. Like when I got tired of that, I was like, I need to be around married people. Because me sitting up here with other single women who also want to get married, but nobody has any success, that's not helping me. So I had to be around married people, and I had to study and take notes, and I had people talk to me, and I had people give me insight, and I had people also give me some constructive criticism, right? And so that is what actually helped me get to the point to where when I met my husband, we were able to vibe on that level because I was ready to receive him. If I'd have met my husband maybe even a year or two prior, it's possible I would have just not been open. It's possible we would have never connected. It's possible I would have given off a particular energy. Like all of that stuff matters. And so when you're saying a great separation, I think that's so key because part of this I also think has to do with how people show up, what they're around, what they're willing to do to actually get what they desire, So shout out to you for that. This one, it says $4.99. Thank you for the $4.99 super sticker. I appreciate you. Shout out to you Game Changer, it's so good to see you. It says they are burning your house and selling your water. This is what? This is I'm sure you have more to say on that. I don't fully get it, but I'm sure you have some more to say on that. This one said, this generations of gynocracy and feminism programming, this won't be as simple as act right. That right there, okay, that's, you touched on something else, which is what I've been saying also for some time, which is that Black women were not taught to be wives. They were not taught to be wives. Black women were not taught to be wives. They were not taught to be wives. They were not taught to be wives, by and large. By and large. That's not a big part of our culture. Black American culture, I'll speak specifically, because I don't want to generalize. I know there's some Black people who come from more traditional cultures, or where they have thousands of years of traditions with respect to marriage rights. So I'm not going to say everybody, but specifically Black America, we've had feminism for the last however many decades. And even if we had our grandmothers or great aunts or things in our family who were married and got married young, many of those ladies encouraged us to not get married so young, to not settle down so young, to not get tied down, because we had all the time in the world. Right? I mean, so many Black women heard that. I had that whole video I did a few months ago of that Black millennial, right? Who, she went a little viral, where she was talking about, she was like, yeah, like we were set up for the okie doke. Like many of us were told not to be married and not to worry about that. Then you get a certain age and people think you're supposed to be married. But so like, well, y'all told us not to do that. Y'all told us to get a career and get our money first. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, even though some of us may have seen our great-grandparents or great aunts or whatever, it was not uncommon to have those elders tell us to not worry about marriage so much. Because they were thinking from their perspective of like, okay, like marriage isn't going anywhere, so get your money first, get stable first. Like they were coming from that lens, but then it just got completely and totally perverted. Completely and totally perverted. And so if you grew up hearing the value of education, which was not uncommon, you grew up hearing the value of education, but there wasn't a ton of conversation about marriage and the value and importance of marriage. Sometimes what you also heard was some of these women in your family talking about how horrible marriage was, or how toxic granddaddy or, grandpa or your great uncle or whatever. Sometimes those ladies in the family who was telling you not to marry young was also giving you horror stories that they had with their men. Okay. That's a whole other different thing. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, you're right. Like just the performative femininity, as in, okay, now I'm going to start to go to the gym. I'm going to start to like talk in my quiet inside voice. I'm going to try to walk more slowly. Because y'all know the performative stuff. I'm sure men can tell very easily when the femininity is very performative and fake. So when it's like, when you're coming like that, that cannot undo a mindset. Like there is literally a unprogramming, a reprogramming, like a rebirthing that needs to happen for a lot of ladies to actually step into being a wife, eventually a mother, raising a family. And it is possible. It is absolutely possible. I believe it is. But you're right. Like in order to do that, some ladies have to completely throw away everything that they knew. Completely throw away everything that they knew and be willing to start afresh. This one says, unfortunately, they're only pretending not to be feminists because things are getting hard out there here. They need that second, right? Right. So that's been the whole conversation, right? Like, is this okay? Are we in the reachback era? Okay, I want to make sure I got everything. Says, you talk a lot about problems women have or going to have, but I don't hear I don't hear any problems men are having. We are thriving without you. Okay. Listen, like I said, God was the one that said it ain't good for man to be alone. I'm not going to sit here and try to convince a man that that's not my job. Right. Every man has to decide to come to a conclusion, what they want to do. But we obviously know men and women need each other as far as survival is concerned, as far as like the human species continuing. Like men and women actually at some point need each other. Right. Now, I mentioned before, I do think men have the ability to be in solitude for quite some time, for a lot longer. And I don't think men are as interdependent as women, generally speaking. I think men can generally live by themselves for quite some time and be fine for the most part. Not to say they won't have struggle with loneliness here and there, but I think men by nature are more independent. Women generally operate more from like a communal mindset, generally speaking. Again, not saying this is always the case, but women operate from a communal mindset, which is why we see ladies going online looking for validation on these dating shows, on social media, that they're shopping. Like, women go online seeking validation because they still operate from that like communal mindset. I think this is like thousands and thousands of years of human evolution, right? When you're thinking of women being a lot more communal minded and wanted to do things based upon the environment and the community and the friends, the women around them, whereas men tend to be a lot more independent minded, partially because men were the one going out and establishing, you know what I mean? Establishing cities and, and finding things, and like, there's just different roles that men had. So this one here, it says Black British blokes learning to love our woman again through the shenanigans of this beautiful channel. Shout out to you with the 5. I appreciate it. Also, I saw a 20 come through from the 18th letter on the Cash App. Thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate it. Okay, so I'm going to have another quick break, and then I will open up the call lines for a conversation for a little bit, and then we will see where this goes. But shout out to all you guys, first of all, for the love. Yeah, that's my uncle. I got him in action. Okay, so let me see. There's a few things. Okay, y'all. So let's see where we want to go. I have a few minutes if people want to call in, like, share, subscribe if you are joining. Show support to the show. Y'all know Cash App, Venmo. Y'all know the drill. And really, I want to know what would it take, just in your opinion, like what would it take for you to know that a lady is really serious? Like, how do you vet? I'm just curious. How do you vet these days? Like, what does that look like? Because we are getting in the era of, like, we are in the reach back. I think it's safe to say we are in that, and we're going to continue to see that. So you're going to have women who are doing the whole fake thing. But I think in that, you're going to have ladies who I think are genuine. I also think you're going to have young girls who are coming of age, who do want family, who do want marriage, who do want that, but just have no idea how to attain that because they didn't see it. They grew up seeing all the BS that's going on now. And so they might need a little coaching, or they might need a little bit of help, but they actually would be willing to be a wife. They would be willing to be that. They just might need a little bit of, like I said, coaching in that sense. And I think that's where it's important. It's very important to have women who offer that. These are why I have these kinds of conversations, right? Because I'm like, I do believe that it is hugely important to still have a space out there that basically says, hey, don't walk with the okie doke. You need to reject the sisterhood, pretty much. A lot of y'all need to reject the sisterhood, AKA the toxic projections of Black femininity that have been going out there for decades that are literally harming you on every level, harming you spiritually, harming you emotionally, harming you. Now it's harming your pocketbook. It's undermining your relationship success. Like, many of y'all need to literally get rid of the sisterhood, get rid of the whole sisterhood narrative, because all that is based upon some toxic, like, plantation stuff that's meant to destroy you. You have to let that go and completely be reborn, like completely let a new mindset, new thinking, new spirit, everything. So that's why we have these kinds of conversations. And I'm telling you, that's what I had to do. I had to do that when I really was like, I wanted to get married and I didn't want to continue to have the same results I was having. I had to change my environment. I had to get myself under some spiritually grounded people. Like my pastors that I'm at now, the church I'm at now, like they did premarital counseling. They gave me some insight. Like I literally had to go through that process of being like, okay, I got to let go of some things. Let me let go of some beliefs that are not serving me. Let me see what God is saying about what it means to be a wife. Okay, let me see why submission is not a curse word. Being a helpmeet, this is not like a slavery. Like let me completely be reprogrammed, because what I heard growing up and even some of what I saw that's not serving me. So I'm like, that's actually what it would really take, I believe, to get to that point. Right? Shout out to you with the 10 of the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Shout out to you with the Tokyo Traveler. It says, our mothers and grandmothers color purple to their yes. In 20 years, marriage rates will halve and they will call for more. Listen, you know what's crazy? I grew up, like one of the earliest movies I remember watching was The Color Purple. And I watched it at my Nana's house. I watched The Color Purple actually a few times at my Nana's house. And I saw the play. You know what I mean? So yes, that's what I'm saying. Even our mothers and grandmothers or great grandmothers who were married, oftentimes they told us, hey, don't worry about marriage right now. Focus on that later. Do that a little later, but focus on yourself. Like there was a lot more emphasis on being self-sufficient and being able to take care of yourself. And here's the thing, I don't think it necessarily always came from a malicious place. Truly, like I really think, now some people out there, some ladies out there were just bitter. But I think for there are many of us who we had mothers and grandmothers, like they couldn't foresee how confusing the dating market was. They were just thinking, we want to get our daughters in a situation in which they can take care of themselves, right? So I don't think it always came, maybe I'm wrong, y'all correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think it always came from like a very toxic place per se. But I think we're seeing the elements, the byproduct of that it's been detrimental. So yeah, so I have a few. Oh, okay. I see some of you guys here. What's going on, Game Changer? I know you're a regular call-in.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, whenever a show is thought-provoking, you know, I definitely like to get my 2 cents in.
No,
so.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I was just saying in the chat room that The Color Purple is their Bible. It is, you know, what the sisterhood. Yeah, that's their go-to for. It's their guide through life, and it's unfortunate because it's written by someone that really doesn't have the interests of Black love at heart.
Right.
Which is why Alice Walker is now in love with a, you know, very young Hawaiian woman. Mm-hmm. You know, she did not have the interests of Black love at heart. And before that, she was married to a non-Black man. So, yeah.
If I'm wrong, because I know in the book, I don't think I actually ever read the book. But to my understanding, I do know that there were like, she was pushing lesbianism. This was decades before, because I know it like,
she was, yes.
Yeah, Suge, and they had their own relationship. And then, so she was pushing that way before I think it's gotten to the point it is today. But I'm wondering, like, did she end up marrying a woman, I wonder, in her later years, or?
I don't know if they're married, but I do know that she is with a woman now.
Oh, right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
She divorced her husband decades ago, and she's now with a woman. Absolutely.
Her white husband. Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
Which is, again,
so
like I said, it's almost getting to where it's like by the playbook to a certain extent. It's like, I mean, now if anytime I see a particularly like a radical Black feminist, I expect her to have a white husband. And then if she doesn't have a white husband or a white boyfriend, I expect her to have a white girlfriend, right? Or, you know, just be a lesbian. Mm-hmm. But it's like, it's almost like it seems as if they will go through they'll express or look through any and all means with, you know, we're trying to find relationships, trying to find love, except Black men. Like they'll experiment with white women, they'll experiment with women of other races, they'll do with men of other races, but it's like they will do anything but be with a Black man. Like I feel like that's something I've noticed with a lot of women.
Or a Black woman. Like for all the stuff that they talk, they're not actually with Black women either.
Well, I'm sure because you're in the Bay, right? You're in the Bay Area like me. Snow Bunny crisis out here is real. Like
I do notice
about the Snow Bunny crisis with like Black women. when I do see a lot of Black lesbians with snow bunnies, which to me was just like, this is like, have we really impacted the snow bunny crisis among Black women? You know, that's a whole other thing. But I'm like, because then I started noticing that, like, even I remember when I went to the Black Joy Parade. Now this year I didn't have a chance to go. But
wait, you went to what? I never heard of that.
The Black Joy. It was in Oakland. It happens every. I'm sorry, not the Black Joy. I'm sorry, I'm blank. But it happens every year in Oakland, like for Black History Month. It's like the last week. I think they used to call it the Black Expo.
At the lake?
Not at the lake. It's in downtown.
Oh, I know about that. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
I know about
I didn't have a chance to go this year, but I went last year, and I was like, when I saw lesbians, like when I saw Black lesbians, like they were with non-Black women, like an overwhelming amount of the time. And most of the swirling that I saw in that particular event was Black women and white women. I was like, I wasn't really anticipating that. I didn't really know what to make of it, but I just was kind of like, that's kind of strange. So, but I never really thought about that. But I'm like, okay, if you have divestors who get to the point where they recognize white men are just not interested, they hate Black men, but they still want love. And we're in a generation now where a lot of women are experimenting sexually. Mm-hmm. It's not surprising to me if they would start to, engage with white women. That wouldn't surprise me in the least.
Well, but I mean, do you think it's hypocritical if they engage with white women and then get mad at Black men? Because if they're radicalized, then if they're sisterhood, then they don't want Black men to be white women. But it seems like they don't want to tolerate Black women either. Just saying.
That's really a whole other topic, I think, at this point. But what I do want to say, what's going on? I think I have, let's see. Wait, let me read this real quick. Okay, I think I got Jack Link. Okay, so I have you, and then let's see who else I have. I'm going to add, okay, when did you dropped off? Oh, 18th Letter, what's going on? 18th Letter, it's so good to see you.
Hello, how you doing today, Miss Chez?
I'm good. Thank you so much again for the support. What do you have on this whole topic? I don't know how much you've had a chance to see, but we're talking about the reach back. We're talking about how you're able to tell whether or not a woman is really, really genuine. She's really genuinely concerned about you and interested in wanting to work with you and build something stable versus like she's just doing the reach back. Like, what do you look for?
Well, the things that I would look for, like you can usually pick up on it, based off of the whole mentality, the misandrist mentality, like the way that they talk about Black men, you can pick up there. You can pick up on it pretty quickly. Even if they was able to hide it, you can only hide it for so long before it pops up on a man's radar, and for not long at all, actually. And I think because I kind of more lean towards. And I hate because I love myself as a Black man, and I love Black people in general, and the Black women that rock with Black men. But I kind of more lean towards accountable commentary standpoint at this particular time, because the thing what's going on in the Black community, we have this gynocratic hierarchy where things are not being addressed as far as the self-hate. The misandry, none of this is being addressed, not even by certain men, where it's kind of like everyone is just ignoring it, and as the problems fester. And what's going on right now is that this is going to implode, because now we're getting down to the bottom that it's the women that really don't want to create Black families within the Black community. They don't want to have a family where the man is the head of the household, where things are operating, underneath the man. And if that means, having to have a household where the Black men who they look down upon, who they feel that they're better than, if that means that they have to get, underneath them, then they rather just see the whole thing dissipated, which is what we're seeing right now. And it's just like, it's so bad with, certain women that even I seen a video where it was saying that how older women that are not in a happy relationship or don't have a man, they get triggered when they see younger Black couples together.
You said
doesn't.
you saw a video on that?
Yes, I'll have to send it to you. I have to send it to you.
Please. Yeah, I'd love to.
But we've been knowing this forever because we've known women who, if they're in a relationship with a man, their mothers who don't have anybody, they'll try to sabotage those relationships.
Which is horrible.
So we've seen that. These are people don't want to call it out what it is. This is a segment of the women in our community, which is a lot, that are very selfish, very self-destructive, and want to destroy everything else within the path of actually Black people advancing with families where the man is at the head of the house.
Could I say something?
Yes.
Can I say something?
Yes, you can.
Well, first of all, Chez, I'm glad. Thank you for letting me on here. I've been meaning to talk to you for a long time, but time and space didn't allow. But I think what we're seeing here, this is a very deep subject, and it ties you to wealth and the perceptions. It ties you to wealth and the social position of, I guess I'll say, our people, right, in the U.S.
Yes.
I think a lot of people don't understand the depth of psychological warfare or psyops and stuff like that, and I don't think a lot of people appreciate how much of the subconscious controls their everyday day-to-day activities. Like for example, if you go to a casino, they don't have clocks in there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you go to the grocery store, those items are placed in certain positions for a certain reason. Like they put the candy up front for a reason so that your kid can grab it and you're forced to buy it because you don't want the kid to start crying and embarrass you. A lot of these things happen. Like when you see fast food restaurants, KFC, McDonald's, Wendy's, whatever, they usually have the color red. They use that color because from a primitive point of view, for hundreds of thousands of years of evolution, that color goes straight to the back of your retina and it makes you alert when you see that color red, which is why we use red for stop signs. Now, I think the issue, one last thing, like,
okay, it sounds like your audio was going out. But as we're waiting for that to come back, it's always Jermaine's fault.
PhDs. Hello?
Are you there? Okay, yeah. Your audio was cutting out. Yeah, if you want to.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so when you're done, I'm gonna let it's always Jermaine's fault because he's been hanging out there.
Gotcha. So what a lot of people don't understand is there's a lot of psychological aspects to what's going on. But let me just make it short. Look, I think the issue was after 1964, there was a concerted effort to make sure that people didn't achieve a certain amount of wealth in the country. And so a lot of psychological warfare was waged. I think they targeted a lot of the women with the intersexual feminism nonsense. They targeted the men with pimp culture and gangster nonsense. You see all this stuff in the 70s and the 80s. And this is why we're at where we're at today. And that's it.
All right. Thank you for sharing. It's always Jermaine's fault. But you I mean, well, you know you're gonna have to get the book. Well, you're gonna have to get the t-shirt now too. Because I'm gonna need you to change that. It's not your fault, Jermaine. It's not.
Oh man. Listen,
it's not your fault, I promise.
Listen, I was the one that told women to not appreciate black men in the first place. You know, that was me. I produced the Ricky Lake shows and all that stuff like that. So it's always my fault. I started it, but I'm a help. I'm a help now. No, but I'm gonna be real. Like, I'm a spiritual man. Like, okay, I'm a man who believes in the Bible. So, one big thing for me specifically, if we're talking about women who have faith and believe in the Bible, if they follow that Bible about what a woman is and what particularly what the black woman is in the Bible, then we could talk about family, relationships, building the community.
Right.
Outside of them, because there's not a lot of people in general that's going to follow the Bible. Outside of them, and I mean this as dramatically as it sounds, you're going to have to wage war on the sisterhood.
No, literally.
Literally. Because whenever black women want something, whenever they really believe in something, they start a movement. Whether it be Black Lives Matter, divestors, swirlers, they write books, they create movies, the professor says something, they get married to a prince. They always show in action. They have a white man appreciation day on Clubhouse when they really mean it. It's not just a TikTok challenge. Let's tell black men we love them. No,
right.
It's
like action. That part.
Right. It's tangible. It's always tangible. When you really, and this is the thing about hatred. Hatred is stronger than love because it motivates them to do all of these things. So for them to really, I mean, they're going to have to wage war. They're going to have to hold clubhouses and Twitter spaces, and they're going to have to be like, divestors, we're inviting you up. We want to discuss how you feel about black men, and I need to hear them wage war on those women that hate black men and talk about, because it's not equal. They keep trying to make it equal. Like, oh, we both, on both sides, we said things. No, black men never said nothing about erasing black girls, black babies. We never said that. We never said that it turns us on to see female cops beat and eliminate black women.
You saw that live. Yeah, I think covered that off, man, a while back. Did you see that live where they had you're talking about like the divesting, like demonology?
Yes. I saw that a long time ago, and I was there. I got onto Clubhouse and I saw couple years in a row, matter of fact, they had the White Man Appreciation Day, right? I saw the videos of them telling white supremacists, you need to burn us, right?
I saw those videos as well. I saw them all.
Now, I'm not familiar with the White Man Appreciation Day. That I don't. I'm glad I didn't see that. I don't remember that.
Yeah, Miss Shay, it was on Clubhouse. And it was a woman there that was telling a cop, a white cop, that she hopes that they kill. She hopes that they delete all of us. Yeah, she was saying that, and then of course the women that was calling. No, it was on Clubhouse. And there was women, of course, the women that.
You're not missing out on anything. I do believe that there are ops. I do believe that there are people who are paid, because we see that's exactly what's happening now. You have some of these artists, like, Meg Thee Stallion, who pushes misandry big. She pushes it big. Who's another one? Glorilla. Like, what's her name? Duetchi or whatever, who talked about how she don't like no straight man. Like, you see how there are black female faces that get promoted and get money for promoting anti-black misandry and for promoting things that are degenerate to our culture. So I do think in the same way they pay people to, I don't know how or which way, but some of these people are definitely ops for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's K double owning. But the reason why I ask if they show their face is because I think that this is part of a larger mating strategy. Now, hear me out, and this goes back to what I super chatted about.
Okay.
Burning the house down and giving them water.
Yeah, that's how I was like, you need to explain that one a little bit.
Yeah, so I can explain it now. What they're doing is they are secretly creating an environment where black men are underappreciated, just to later come up and say, oh, I appreciate you, black men. But really, there's no, it's just like you're offering the absence of a negative. You're solving a problem that really didn't exist until you created that problem. It's a mating tactic. It's
Right.
like calling a woman ugly, or that's like having my friend call a woman ugly and then I walk up and tell her how fine she is.
Yeah.
Like, it's a strategy, and it's what these women are doing. Listen, to say that, oh yes, I love, black men for reasons, that shouldn't be enough to get black men really just, oh, this woman is great, she's perfect. It's like, no, she still has to go through rigorous screening processes.
Yeah, and she should.
Exactly. But that's one way and one tactic that they use to get you off guard. If a woman says, something, I appreciate you, black man, and I would return with, well, I'd appreciate you if you lost 40 pounds. You can't just let your guard down. We need more than appreciation, but appreciation seems like a lot when you don't have it. That's why they create a hostile circumstance, and then they offer a non-hostile alternative to that.
Okay. No, I appreciate it. Okay. Well, I have a few more minutes. I'm trying to see if I have any other calls. Real quick, I want to also acknowledge, I saw some more super chats come through. I want to make sure I acknowledge. Shout out to you. It says, I look for a woman that is honest, even if it's embarrassing or makes her look bad, ability to apologize and accept accountability, a woman that is true to her word and values, even when inconvenient. I mean, I have nothing else to say there. I think that's a beautiful trait. Honesty and humility. And here's the thing too. Like, I was thinking about this whole van life, homeless by choice thing. At the end of the day, we know a lot of that is cap. And we know a lot of these ladies come on and they say that this is some self-love journey because they're wanting that social validation. But my hope is that at the end of the day, there's going to be some ladies who finally acknowledge that they need some help, and that there might be some who will be willing to embrace some humility. Now,
did you see the mini homes on Tamron Hall? Tamron Hall had a show today. There's mini homes where the ceiling is so low you got to crawl through the house. That's where they live right now.
I'm not familiar with that at all. I'll have to look at it.
Hey, Miss Shay.
Huh?
I just wanted to ask you a question really quickly, because of course we've been watching your content for a very long time. And what do you think about, we can just fast forward before this economy crash, even before COVID, you had a lot of different content creators who were black women that was manipulating other black women by fueling this hate train. And now, have you noticed that certain ones that was a major factor have disappeared, as far as when the hate speech became more and more extreme?
So you're saying you feel like some of those female channels that were fueling off of hate have lost their steam? I want to make sure I understand.
Yeah, they've actually, once it became too extreme to the point it was getting severely extreme, you have certain channels, of course, like, I don't want to say any names, but certain channels now, they started gearing away from it.
I can answer why that is.
Yeah. And then real quick, looks like I have two more on here I want to get in, and I have about 10 more minutes. So if you guys have any final thoughts, feel free to wrap it up. I'm going to add the two more in the back.
Yeah, just to add on to what I was saying, when they wage wars, I need to see the numbers of women that are waging war against the divestors in the sisterhood. I need to see those numbers be more than the sisterhood. Then we can start to talk.
No, I understand. I understand. There needs to be some legitimate proof. So okay, so I'm going to add.
No, I wanted to respond to what 18th Letter said, or his question about where have they gone. Quite simply put, 18th Letter, they got some penis.
Oh,
no, honestly, that's where they went. Like, a lot of women are venting frustration about their current relationship situation. Once that's changed in their favor, they see no need to everything. Yeah, exactly.
Some of y'all said Cynthia G. No, Cynthia G is actually back. She's actually back. I've seen her.
Well,
but okay. But anyways, I'm gonna add. Looks like I have I don't know how to say your name. I don't want to butcher it. So
Wakambe.
Huh?
That'll work. Wakambe will work. But yeah, I listened to you for a while, you know, for about 2 years in the back end, and I see the content that you do. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
But I see what you were saying about, you know, I think that people need to go about this in a more respectful way. Like if it's something you don't like about a person, or you want to see change, it's a way to get that change. That's the only issue I have with like a lot of brothers. They be on here doing all that raspy talking on here. You know what I mean? But other than that, you know, I get where they coming from. So I can't sit there and pretend like, oh, everything is all good. When you see they on there spazzing out like y'all was saying we bullet bags and everything, like that's a death threat. I don't blame no man for not wanting to be with no woman like that.
Not just that, brother. That's hate speech. They call us apes and everything else. It's beyond just threats. It's literally neo-Nazi hate speech.
Yeah, and that's where, you know, there's always an aspect of me that says some of this stuff I believe is I want to say fabricated. It's like the sentiments are already there, and then you may have plants or whatever who come in and then they aggravate. It's like adding fuel to the fire.
Shay, what do you think about this too, though?
You don't see that stuff in real life. You like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, or y'all come from I'm wrong, but do people come up to you and be like, "Hey, bullet bag," like, black? That's not happening. So I'm like, the age of the anonymity to a certain extent has really created or has shown the worst aspects. You know what I mean? Or people's alternate toxic, demonic ego, whatever you want to put it. But I'm like, in real life, Black women aren't coming up to y'all being like y'all bullet bags, but you're experiencing disrespect though. So,
Shay, let me ask you a question. Do you think it's love if because white men don't want Black women, right? There's a lot of literature to prove that.
Yeah.
You think it's love that Black women went all out of their way to find white men, failed, and then turned around and say they love Black men now? Do you think that's love?
When you say, help me understand, are you talking about with respect to like?
Okay, so you got a lot of divestors, a lot of women that if you search their Twitter timeline, they were sweating white men. They really wanted white men.
Yeah.
Then they went out there and found out these white men don't want them back. Probably pump and dumped her. And she said, all right, they don't want me, so now I'm going to go back to wanting and loving quote-unquote Black men. Do you consider that real love, or is that just like treating Black men as a consolation prize?
No, I mean, we already know what time it is. Nobody wants to be second place or backup plan, including men. I mean, well, correct me if I'm wrong here. I don't want to speak on behalf, but that doesn't sound genuine to me. That doesn't sound legitimate. And I wouldn't encourage anybody to end up in that kind of situation at all.
I don't mind being second place. I think that each and every single woman that I've been with would rather be with Idris Elba or Michael B. Jordan. And I don't care.
Okay, fair.
You know,
but I mean, that's not reality.
Yeah. Well, I mean, neither is them getting with a white man, but there you go.
I don't look at it that way because it's your whole type. It's not just a better, a movie star. It's them genetically, culturally considering white men better than you, and then just falling down and saying, "Oh, well, I'll accept you now." To me, that's how I look at it.
Yeah, well, and that's not a person worth engaging with at all. Now, real quick, I do want to be mindful of the time. I think Big Kev just joined. That's going to be the last call that I take for today. I know we've been kind of talking all over, but Big Kev, if you wanted to hop in about the topic, we're obviously mentioning the reach back, and my initial question was, what would it take? What would a woman need to do to show that she's actually genuine? Or if anything else that they said resonates with you, you can hop in.
Well, I think in regards to like the genuineness, I think it's more so a matter of being true to one's intentions, because to me it's almost like this, right? It's not the women who basically lean into their hatred of so-called Black men It's not the women who actually genuinely do sincerely value and appreciate and want a healthy relationship with a so-called black man that's necessarily the problem. It's the people that try to pretend, or people who try to flip flop. There's a whole lot of fence strollers and flip floppers, and it's like, if you would just be honest with yourself, you would save yourself so much trouble. Like, just stop lying to yourself.
That's true.
Number two, it's one of those things where, again, with this topic, it's like, all we need to do, and I do have to agree with Edward Anderson, about this, when he basically says, all you got to do to kill their whole argument is literally for more so-called black men, especially y'all, to just come out and say, you know what, you always talk about how white men are better. You know what? Yeah. You know what? Yeah, that's actually a great idea. You know what? Go get a white man to marry you. In fact, start a whole hashtag like "get a white man to do it." Like I think that's what a lot of these chicks don't want to happen, because the more guys that start to say that, eventually, that's essentially so-called black men basically saying, you know what, put up or shut up. You're always talking trash about how you're such this great player. You know what? Check ball. All right, cool. Show it on the court. And then another thing too, it's like watching them scapegoat your average so-called black men for their failures. I'm sure you guys get this. If you guys watch the NFL, it's like listening to like a lot of like Browns fans try to like go into these like convoluted rabbit holes about how the Odell Beckham Jr. trade was bad, or how Baker Mayfield destroyed their team. We're gonna realize like no, they weren't the problem. You guys are just idiots. That's all. It's like you guys are just hopelessly dysfunctional and regressive, and that's why you keep losing. And you could kind of parallel that to a lot of this flagrant dysfunction and hate and stuff that you see being peddled by the so-called sisterhood. It's like, eventually most of us are going to have to accept the fact that, so-called black men, for the most part, we're not responsible for a lot of so-called black women's failures and shortcomings as women. Like, we're just not. Because if we were, when we're not in the picture, their lives would get better, like across the board. But most times it doesn't. So what do you have to say to that, Like, and it's like that consistently. Like, they keep saying, oh, okay, it's Jamal's fault that, that you're fat, or you have, or that, you destroyed your scalp, or that, other men don't want you. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, all we have to do, put it to the acid test. Let's take Jamal. Let's remove Jamal out of the picture. I'm even to the point where I would even recommend, for these swirlers and divestors that are single moms, I'm like, I would even recommend them giving up custody of their children to the dad, just to go be with these other men. Just put it to the acid test. Like, stop all this hypothetical options. Just like, no, like,
try to prove it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, just prove it. Just put up or shut up. That's it. Put up or shut up.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Put up or shut up. That's it.
No, I understand. I mean, a lot of it is just talk, and it is a lot of noise. It is a ton of noise, and I really think at the end of the day, people who are serious, and someone who would be serious, is actually going to be willing to go through the actions to do so. I do think. I mean, while I would not have maybe used it in those exact terms, there is an element of truth to what you're saying, Game Changer, and that ultimately, once a woman is satisfied in her relationship, she has no need, and she has there's nothing she gains from, let's say, a Cynthia G, right? Who is very open about her disdain for black men and the lack of what she says is black male leadership. A woman who is actually getting that really can't connect to that and has no reason to go online and complain. But if she's discontent and sad, upset, depressed that she doesn't have that, then she can fill that void by those toxic channels, or black women get online all day and just complain about men that they supposedly don't want, but they're always talking about. So, yes, it is like some of it is just a
Cynthia G is the best example for that, because she started off, on the pro-black, black love, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When she did the results that she wanted from that, it quickly turned into hate. Right. But still a willingness to deal with the black man. But if she found Tariq Nasheed and all that, it will end tomorrow. Like it really would.
And then I would also say too,
kind of like Paris Milan. who came out as
Yeah,
married,
exactly.
Kind of
privatized her. She did
kind
privatize.
of.
Huh?
Mm-hmm. No. I said to kind of summarize what I was saying another way is basically you have a lot of hyper matriarchal Negroes that hate relationships, hate marriage, and hate family, but they just don't like when other people remind them that they hate relationships, marriage, and family, because they still want to be able to have plausible deniability and play the victim and be like, oh, you know, poor old me. You know, they don't like when other people point that out because again, it's like, you know, if you openly admit that you hate so-called black men and black children and, you know, you hate families, I'm like, why are you? Nobody's gonna feel sorry for you if you don't have a family, or if the family you do have is falling to pieces. Like nobody's gonna feel sorry for you. It's like, well, isn't this what you wanted? So
Right.
Hey,
So
what
I'm going to wrap this up real quick. If you guys want to give any final thoughts, and then I'm going to read through some of the super chats because I wanted to acknowledge that. But any final thoughts or feedback you guys might have?
I just want to know what happened with Paris Milan. I didn't hear that.
Oh, okay. Real quick about Paris. Yeah, now I have to see if she's back, but I know she's had a channel that's had some very negative things to say about black men. I actually reviewed one of her lives where she just was trashing. I don't remember. It was somebody who I think had gotten deleted. It was like a police deletion. And she said some things that I took, I had issue with, and so I responded. But she's had some very telling things to say about black men. But we found out later on that she was actually married to a black man, and she eventually released that to her followers. And then last I heard, she actually privatized her channel completely or deleted it. I don't know if it's or deleted it or I don't know. It's just nowhere to be found.
You know what?
Later.
If I may say something, Miss Shay, with that, well, one of the things why she privatized her channel because she went on a whole hate rant on biracials and was exposed with that. And then on top of that, even when she showed people she was married, it was because a subscriber was actually going to expose the fact that she was married. Women, and she wanted to beat everybody to it before that subscriber actually was going to expose that she was married to a Nigerian black man at that. Women like Paris Milan, in my personal opinion, and Chrissy are like some of the worst of the worst because they actually know better, but they manipulate and fuel hate to these women for money. And one of the reasons why a lot of those channels veered into another direction, especially Chrissy, she's not as extreme as she once was, is because after what happened with Cynthia G, a lot of them was afraid that they was going to get their channel shut down.
True.
And that was their bread and butter for, those YouTube checks was paying very well. So that was their bread and butter. So a lot of them started gearing out of that direction. And you notice a lot of them, of course, I know that you touched on this, but a lot of them was not even touching on a lot of these quote unquote divestors that were in interracial relationships that end up getting deleted. They were very quiet when it came to that. And also to what one gentleman said in the chat, Paris Milan now has a business with all of the YouTube money that she made fueling hate speech. And I think she don't want that to get in the way of her business. So I think that's one of the main reasons why she privatized her channel as well.
Yeah, I do know she on that. You're right. I do know that her and I think it was Exoticals United got into it. They went back and forth. Actually did a live and Exoticals United came on. And I thought it was hilarious because I was like, when you have somebody who's actually the product of quote unquote divesting or interracial relationships, they can tell you they're real. And so, I do remember the back and forth. I wasn't fully aware of the details. Just what we do know is that obviously she's made money saying some very disparaging things about black men. She is married to a black man. And the challenge about when you do cultivate an audience off of misandry or off of constantly tearing down your own group of people, when people find out, when followers find out that you actually are living a life that is distinctive from that, some of them can feel upset, or they can feel like that would be like if you found out Cynthia G right now was like a housewife, you know what I mean? And like was like, serving her husband every night, you know what I mean? Like that would be like, wait, what? Like that's completely different than what you're saying. So it is something else, but she might come back. And we know Cynthia G is back. Paris Milan might come back. We will see. People rebrand all the time, but ultimately, I think the bigger point is nobody should be making content off of disparaging anybody, particularly their own people.
I just hope Cynthia G marries Tariq Nasheed and they give birth to Uncle Ruckus. That's all I hope.
Oh my God. Well, I do think Tariq Nasheed is already married, so that I don't think that's going.
If I may, Miss Shay, I'm gonna just say this, and then these are my final words, and then I'm gonna head out. I think it's no sense in even trying to compromise with this, with these type of women. I think the damage has been done. These women have shown that they have devoted their lives and a lot of their energy to try to destroy black men and destroy black men's image for whatever the reason may be. It may be due to self-hatred. It may be due to anger, bitterness, for whatever reason.
No, it's due to.
Huh?
The reason is that they want to create a scarcity mindset amongst black men that they can exploit.
Right. Okay. Well,
I don't even know.
If
I
you
don't
don't
even know if they're thinking that far. But
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Miss Shay, what you was gonna say?
No, I'm saying if you don't mind, can you let him finish, and then you can feel
Sorry.
free to. Yeah,
No, no problem. No problem, GC. Yeah, so at this particular point, I advise for black men to go deal with you can deal with other cultures of black women, whether it be Africans or, people from the Caribbean. And if not, go get another group of a woman, because this ain't it. I don't want to, try to compromise with somebody that hates me. And at this point, that's what we're seeing. For whatever one reason or another, I advise, black men not to deal with these types of people altogether. So
No one should ever. Yeah, no one should ever do that. And I have to say the good news for women, black women particularly who are serious, is it doesn't take much to distinguish yourself from, I think, from the sisterhood or from the garbage that's going on. It really doesn't take much. Simple accountability.
Yeah, absolutely.
Humility. I'm sorry.
I'll just add this real quick, Miss Shay. I just want to say, for the women like yourself, for black women like yourself who support black men, watch our backs, because these women, one thing we have to understand, we're dealing with women that have a mentality of when they don't get what they want or they feel like it's over for them, they want it to be over for other black women as well, that may have an alignment with their men, who may, want to have a family with their men. That's why these women are so aggressive in the way that they, go against black women like that. Even, in the message, you can just, be giving your man, his proper respect and giving your man compliments, and that just, it's like somebody put a rat down their back. It just make their skin crawl. So be careful with people, be careful with those women, because they don't want to see, if they don't feel like they're getting what they got, they don't want to see no black woman happy, and they want to see black men destroyed. So.
Yeah, they need to be concerned about me. I have no fear of, respectfully, these bitter betties who don't know the left from the right. They need salvation, pure and simple. Like I said, they can't. Yeah, I'm not concerned about them, but I do understand what you're saying. It's like misery loves company, and people will do the best that they can to try to destroy, but they can't destroy what they can't control. You know what I mean? Like, just my hope is that sometimes hitting rock bottom is the best thing a person can go to, because then they can recognize that what they're doing isn't working for them, and perhaps at that point there will be a willingness to change. So anyways, I appreciate your support, 18th letter, and it's always good to have a conversation where we're able to.
Oh, thank you, Miss Shay. Thank you for allowing me up on your platform. It's always good to converse with you, especially in regards to this topic. I want to give a shout out to GC. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to Jermaine. It's always Jermaine's fault.
Jermaine, it's not your fault, Jermaine. It's not. I promise it's not.
I don't believe you.
Okay, so I'm trying to think. Now, do you want to again, I don't want to butcher your name. I'm so sorry. But would you like to hop in?
Okay. My name is Yaakwaba.
Yaakwaba. It's an amazing name. I just don't. I feel like I don't. Yaakwaba. Okay, that's great. I just don't want to butcher.
But yeah, I wanted to, if I have your graces, can I at least give them some advice, the ones that went on that rampage?
Yeah, you can share what your thoughts.
Okay. My advice for them is that since all this was done online, I think that if you see any brother that's online that's doing something, if he got 1,000,000 followers, or he got 1,000, or he got one, go and show them some love. Go over there and let your good outweigh your bad.
Mm-hmm.
Don't pretend like you didn't do nothing. Don't bring it up either. But just show yourself as a decent human being. And I'm pretty sure that when the rubber meet the road, if somebody found something on you, all they got to do is go back and look at your recent activity and say, you know what, she cool. And that's my advice for them.
Yeah, I mean that's real simple stuff. Like that's what I mentioned before. The good news, particularly for Black women, is that it takes very little to actually separate yourself because the bar right now is to hell. Like to be like a genuine good woman is, I mean, it sounds like that's a diamond in the rough. That's like 1 in a million, but it's these men are not asking for the moon. Really not. So thank you for
Thank you for letting me come up. I'm finna go now, okay?
Okay, you take
I
care.
just guarantee this is a TikTok challenge. I guarantee you it's a TikTok challenge.
Oh, what?
Right away.
You talk about the black men affirmations?
Yeah, it's just a TikTok challenge. I've seen people inhale cinnamon, so this is not anything too extreme.
Well, you know, the thing is, on that, like I said, one of the content creators in it, she did admit that she for 2 years did black male affirmations, and she explained, you know, what encouraged her. And so I don't I look at this stuff and I'm like, I believe there are some genuine women out there. I just understand right now there's a lot of noise. So I could also really, really, really understand why many of you guys would be like, this means nothing. A TikTok video means nothing. We need some real tangible, legitimate changes for me to actually be willing to engage. And that's valid. That's completely valid. That is completely valid.
I really wish we had the time because there was this guy that said, because he was going through a video about swirling. He was like, yo, Black women do not hate racism. They hate the rejection from white people. And that's what I felt. That's what I felt like Black Lives Matter was really about, because you could have done so much about the drug dealers and the gangbangers. If you really cared about Black lives, you didn't. But every time a white person killed a Black person, it hurt your heart so much. You had to start a whole movement for it. You know what I'm saying? You have all these movements and these, you know what I'm saying, these gatherings and all these sayings and all this stuff. And you hold all these chats. But when you want to affirm that you love Black men as just a TikTok challenge, like, no, I've seen you eat scolding hot chips on TikTok. It doesn't really do much for me. You know what I'm saying? So get out there and march in the streets. No offense.
I understand what you're saying. That's particularly why I believe so many, it's a whole other tangent, why so many Black women were deeply, deeply discouraged by the loss of Kamala Harris. Actually saw some openly admit that it felt like rejection to them. Because, like you said, because of the desire for white acceptance and validation. So I do believe that there is something to that for sure. That is a whole other topic. But yeah, I have to say I concur.
Like, really, if any other group of people said the things Black women said to another group of people, you'd be on the verge of war. Like, there would be no trust. If Jewish people said, you know, abort Palestinian babies, what does that sound like to you? Bullet bags. You know? That's not normal. That's not normal. You know, I don't want to date you stuff. That's you know, deletion.
Yeah.
No one says this stuff to anyone else except Black women to Black men. And we talk about white men like they're the worst thing on the planet. And I'm not going into that. But compared to what Black women say to Black men, white men are angels. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy.
A lot to unpack there. Like I said, it's a whole different topic. I will say briefly, and then Game Changer, if you want to hop in or wrap things up. I mean, this is what I mentioned in the lab that I did with Dr. Umar, who's some of his ideas or ideals I can support, but I said, at the core, it doesn't matter how perfect of a system something is or how in favor a system is for Black people. If Black men and women can't get along and they're not functional families, Black people will destroy that. And I'm like, Wakanda, if we had access to Wakanda today, Black America at large would destroy it. You'd have women going on twerking, okay, taking out some folks, taking the resources, stealing it, people getting in fights, trying to get, like if Wakanda existed today where there was the perfect system that benefited Black people as a whole, with the current mentality that is pervading, particularly in Black America, right, it would be destroyed. So that's why I'm like, while I am all for creating better systems and advocating for that, you still have to fix step one, which is a broken family, which is men and women, why they are not coming together on like the most basic level, because communities are made up of families. Families are made up of men and women who have kids. If that's not happening, then there is no community. You know what I mean? Like, so.
That's absolutely true.
Right. So Game Changer, do you have any things you want to add before I wrap this up?
Yes, a couple of things. A couple of things, because things were said in the chat room that I definitely need to reply to, but it goes under a whole blanket thing. And I think that there's a misunderstanding or disconnect going on that Black men need. Black men really need to understand that we are the sugar, honey, iced tea when it comes to men. And because of that, there is going to be a lot of problems that go along also with that. One is that there's going to be a fear from your own women that if you know or realize that you are the sugar, honey, iced tea, that they are going to want to find a way to humble you. That way they can still have you. And that is what we're dealing with. All of this Cynthia G, 1 year she's like, oh, king, you're my king. And then next thing you know, you're dusty beta male, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All of this is designed to humble you. All of this, hey, look at me, I'm swirling, I'm leaving. You got to hurry up and get it while you can because I'm leaving. But they never really leave. All of that is tactics to humble you. It's all a tactic to get discount D from you. And what I'm saying, Black man, is understand that. Understand that that is your value. All of this is just tactics for their inability to keep up and obtain and sustain a relationship with something of such great value. Now, what do I mean by value? I'm talking about dollar for dollar. I'm not saying, other groups may have a reputation for being, economically sound. Outside of that, dollar for dollar, they understand that we are the sugar, honey, iced tea. That's why they worry when Black men get too much money. That is why there is this divide. They're worried about the possibility and potential of an arrogant Black man. So everything that they do in their culture, even from mother to son, is to humble you, to take what they are willing to give you. Fellas, do not fall for the tactic. Let these chicks say whatever they want. At the end of the day, know what you are.
All right. No, I think there's a lot to that. That goes back into something I mentioned a while back about. I'm trying to think exactly what it was, but it was basically to the extent of fearing Black male leadership. This one may have to be a whole other live, but there's a fear of Black male leadership, which is why I noticed this theme a lot of when a Black man gets to a certain point of success, there can be this like knee-jerk reaction to like want to humble him or make sure he doesn't get too high-minded.
Yes.
I've seen that, in these weird toxic dating shows that show the worst aspects of Black culture. You've seen this in conversations, even passively, but this idea of like, you want to make sure you don't get too high-minded. He got to remember where he comes from. He has to remember who he is. And at the core of that, I think, is a fear of Black male leadership for multiple reasons, right? There's really, really toxic ideas about Black masculinity and the assumption that if a Black man is to lead, he's going to do so with a whip and he's going to like enslave you right now into the color purple. So that is inherent in some of the beliefs of these ladies, which is why when a Black man is actually on his stuff, there can be sometimes this need to push him down. And my brain is like, the last thing you want to do is push these men down who would literally be largely responsible and necessary to create a better reality. You want to lift, you want to encourage that. You want to encourage confidence. You want to encourage, you know, that kind of masculinity. You don't want to always try to stifle it. So definitely something that.
The reason why they want to stifle it is because, and this isn't the Black man's belief, this is the Black woman's belief. They believe that other groups of women are better than them. Now they're not, at least not on a genetic level. But they feel that Black men do, and that if Black man values himself, then he's going to want a woman of equal value, reading a woman of higher value than her. Now that's their belief. That's not how Black men believe, but that is how they're believed. And unfortunately for the Black women, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's why you have Kanye West saying, then you get on and they'll leave you for a white girl. You know, I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he's getting at. They don't leave you for a white girl because they got on. They leave for a white girl because of all the stuff that you did to suppress his masculinity, as you was describing, you know, to suppress his confidence. Because of that, he leaves, not because of you. Like you said earlier, if he had a choice to be with, and the ones that do, Denzel Washington do, Bill Cosby do, you know, like the ones with choices to do that, they do that. But they don't give that choice because of fear that, you know, if he knew that he had those options, he would not opt for the Black woman.
I definitely think there's some low self-esteem there for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for calling in. This is, as always, a interesting conversation. I'm going to go and start reading through some of the super chats. I know some of you guys had mentioned some things. But yeah, thanks for calling in, Game Changer. And it's always, Jermaine, it's not your fault, I promise. I don't know what you're saying.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's all good. It's all good. All right.
Thanks. Peace.
All good. Okay. So, real quick. Oops. Well, yeah, that's my t-shirt. You guys check out my store if you haven't already. On that, I'm going to do yeah, well, you guys can do this quick little promo, then I'm going to read through some of the super chats. You guys mentioned some really good things. I wanted to make sure I covered off. Okay, so real quick, let's look through some of these super chats. So shout out to you, Sam Major, again with the 10. It says Wakanda is a militaristic patriarchal theocracy. Black America is a pacifistic matriarchal gynocracy. Yeah, that's what I said before. I was like, if we had Wakanda today, if there was a society that existed that was perfectly primed for the Black experience, the mentality that exists today and the broken family structure would inherently destroy it, which is why I believe, while I'm not opposed to trying to fight for a better reality and a more equitable structure or system, however that may look, I think step one ultimately is repairing the family, the Black family. That is what God created to be the epicenter of community of existence. And when that is broken down, then the whole community falters. So completely agree there. Another one here, it says Black men need to raise their standards and expand their options. Competition makes the product better. I agree. This is actually why I've long supported the passport bill movement. We live in an economy now where people are no longer limited to just their city, even their state, their area. They're not limited to that. So if a man finds a better option, if a man finds a wife or someone who he feels is aligned with the vision God has given him, and she is outside of the USA, she's in it from a different culture, great. I mean, I see no problem with that whatsoever. Shout out to you with the 5, Joe E. It says, I'm contributing a little for allowing me to comment in chat. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Another one with a 10, Sam Major. It says, pure genius that Chez covering this. Thank you. You know, I think we're going to see more of this. We are going to see more of this. And I think these conversations obviously need to be had. And my hope, honestly, my hope is that at least for some ladies, I don't think it's going to be 100% of them, but if at least some ladies can recognize that they need to completely abort the sisterhood. And when I say the sisterhood, I mean the toxic, misandrous, anti-Black expressions of Black femininity that have been shoved down our throat for the last few decades. Toxic radical feminism, toxic, hating Black men, not needing Black men, the toxic independence, the hyper independence, like all the things that are largely responsible, the deletion of Black babies, all the mentality that is really responsible for keeping women from really having successful, thriving relationships and families. I think they need to completely get rid of that. And if the humbling that is happening and is coming, if that gives ladies the opportunity to look in the mirror and say, hey, maybe what I've been believing is not serving me. Maybe I need to do things different. Maybe I need to really change. Then I think that's a great thing. I think it's a great thing. I think it would be great, whether it be through competition, whether it be through ladies having to go through the van life and be homeless by choice a little bit and, you know, eat a little bit of crow before they come to the mentality that, hey, I need to do something different. That actually might be what is needed for things to get better. So in that sense, yeah, this is why I think these conversations are necessary. It's also necessary too, so that, you know, you don't fall for the okie doke. And as many of you guys mentioned, you're not. Seeing a few videos of women who are giving heart emojis means nothing. When you know that when women are really passionate about something, they show it through their actions, through rallying, through marching, through letting the whole world know what they think. That is one thing Black women know how to do, is let the world know what they think. And if from that vantage point, I could agree that there needs to be similar effort. If there's, I think, to be a change, or if you just to see more men, I think, just really believe what they are saying. Shout out to you with the 5. It says they destroy their lives, bodies, and reputation, and then reach back to decent men to clean, fix, wipe them up. Yeah, that again, I would not encourage any man to do that. I mean, like, you're not God. Y'all aren't Jesus. Okay, like, leave that to Jesus. Don't like, that's not, men don't need to go and sacrifice themselves and be the garbage man. Like, no, leave that to God. Okay. And then y'all go about your business. Seriously. I don't think men are supposed to be an insurance backup policy. This one says, I look for a woman that is honest, even if it's embarrassing or makes her look bad. Okay, I think I already read that already. I want to make sure. Oh, this one here. It says, cheers, but unfortunately it will take a revamping of the court system to have real men take it seriously. That's when men will know it's genuine. Men don't mind hardworking women, but competing against your man is trash. Okay, you know, that is also very, 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 very true. On that note, I saw one of you guys mention how Dr. T, not Dr. T is on, Dr. Umar Johnson, right, was talking about, given the recent baby mama's drama he's going through, talking about Black men need to rally together and try to change the court system and try to create a better reality, and they should be tired of giving money to women who keep them from seeing their children. So there really is something to this. There is something to this for sure. Is there going to be a willingness to do this? Will this happen? We'll see. But I think this is legitimate. I think these are the kinds of conversations that will need to be had. Understanding the Black woman political agenda, a prime example, right? I mean, I'm sure many of you guys are familiar with that, but just in the off chance, in the small off chance, some of you guys haven't seen it or ran through it, especially for you ladies out there, any ladies who might be here, this would be a prime example, the Black woman political agenda. At least understanding even if you don't agree, even if it doesn't make sense, even if it goes over your head, attempting to understand what are the things that men are actually going through? What are the things that really matter to them? We see family court reform. That's one of the first things there. Education, affirmative action for Black men. We know affirmative action benefited white women, period, in the discussion. It benefited white women. And then there were some minority women here and there that kind of got some stuff, got some, little tokens. Black men were way at the bottom of that, right? So affirmative action for Black men, also because Black men were overwhelmingly impacted by even the slave trade. We see targeted homelessness for programs. Black men, again, disproportionately homeless compared to Black women. Unemployment programs, criminal law reform. We obviously know Black men, with respect to criminal law and law enforcement, still get the heaviest. It's just heavy-handed there. They get the brunt of the force. DV, we understand that's bilateral. Targeted small business support. Again, when you think of support that's going to the Black community, really it's Black women who are getting support with respect to business. So, there's a lot here. Paternity leave, reverse voter disenfranchisement. Really, really good points. But I'm like, this is an example of someone who actually wants to learn and study and understand and show that they are willing, that they want to change, that they want to understand, that they want to know. It's important to familiarize yourself with the challenges that your man has. And, again, Dr. T, shout out to him. He mentioned this in his live. He talked about the live I did with him years ago, where he talked about white women coming in and studying men, white women and Latina women coming in and studying Black men. So other ladies are doing this. They're actually doing this. So to a certain extent, a woman who has to deprogram the sisterhood, it's not bad for them to actually understand too, by and large, what men like her will actually need, what's important to them, even politically. What are the things that impact their day-to-day life? Okay, so I want to make sure let me see if I got all the rest. Where'd you go? Sorry. Okay. Yeah, so I think I got the rest of the super chats. Again, guys, I appreciate you guys for hanging out. This was an interesting one. For those of you guys who are hopping on a little late, you can go back and catch the replay. We went over quite a bit of content. We have some people call in, but ultimately, I think this conversation is going to continue because we're really only at the beginning of what's happening or what will be happening. And how it's going to be impacting the economy. So we'll have to see what this looks like. But I'm glad to have these conversations because that's what's needed if there's to be really any change. Anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Like, share, subscribe on the way out. Be sure to check out my store. You can get some products there. You can also check out my latest book I'm working on, a pre-order. It is not Jermaine's fault. Like I said, I've been working on that, doing some collabs there. So that should be dropping really, really, really soon for those of you guys who are interested and having content that is empowering to young Black boys. We know, unfortunately, the reading levels for young Black boys in particular are horrible. Absolutely, absolutely horrible. And that has nothing to do with their inability. It has nothing to do with they're smart, the know-how, none of it. A lot of it just has to do with the fact that there is not material that is speaking to their experience, and the educational system is not really in their favor. So be sure to check this out if you want. It's available now for pre-order. It's not Jermaine's fault. And we're here. We talk about anti-Black misandry, and ultimately it's a book about inspiring young Black boys to have confidence in knowing that they can do whatever, they can excel, they can thrive, they can do whatever they put their mind to. God has given them capacity to excel and thrive. And I think they need to get that message early on instead of just being told that they can't read and they can't this and they're most likely to get in trouble and they just need to go to jail. And like all the stuff that Black boys get from a very young age that are always telling them how deficient they are. They need to have material that's speaking to them young, letting them know that they are capable, worthy, and loved, and that they can actually do well. So check that out. And thank you guys so much for hanging out. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments down. You can always email me too if you guys have other questions or if you have other content you would like me to review, because I only have 2 eyes, so I can't see everything. Also, oh, and I mentioned that I will say this too. You know, I think in general, because it's so easy for misinformation to go out about really anything, about content creators, about stories, always go back and, you know, cross-reference. I do my best to present to you guys information that I know is tested and approved, or that I know is factual, but I'm not perfect, and nobody's perfect. So if you ever have a question about anything, whether it be, you know, a statistic, content creator, you can always go back, you can ask me, or you can go back and just cross-reference. When it comes to even channels, what's going on with Cynthia G, what's going on with Paris Milan, what's going on, do your own research. Because like I said, misinformation goes out there all the time. I have people out here, some people think I've heard people say that I'm, Haitian, some people think I'm Caribbean, some people say I'm Nigerian. I've had people say all kinds of different stuff. I'm born elsewhere, and I'm like, I'm Black American with 2 Black American parents. So I don't know where this comes from. What I'm saying is the internet is always filled with misinformation. So just because somebody says something, like, you want to cross-reference and verify it. So you're making sure you're not just running with gossip. I do the best that I can to make sure that I'm presenting real information. But like I said, I don't know everything, and things are changing. So that's what I'm saying. Go check for yourself. If you want to know what's going on with Cynthia G, check out her channel. If you want to know what's going on with Paris Milan, go check out her channel. Check out their stuff. I'll review it, but always, always, always question and cross-reference, because there are content creators out who go online and just lie and spew and make up stories. But also, like I said, the internet is filled with misinformation. So the best way you can know that you are not getting misinformation and running with the truth is to go cross-reference and verify. So that's what I have. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I really appreciate you guys, and we will talk later. Okay, bye.